everybody, and welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. You're listening, and we're listening, and we're talking. Maybe you're talking as well. This is episode, what do we say, 298-ish, right? Does that sound right to everybody? 298?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. We'll say it's February 4th.
In the neighborhood.
Friday, February 5th. We'll get correct. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. 298? I don't know if I changed it. I don't remember. I'll tell you what, though. Before we get to anything, I want to wish my little brother a happy birthday.
Oh, very nice.
It's his birthday. It's Friday here in the United States, his birthday, or since he's in Australia, it's happy birthday today. I guess that's how that works. Time travel.
Okay.
I'm joined by Alex Navarro.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jeff Baclar, how are you? I looked just.
No, that part fucks me up. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. If I do that part, then it's a bit. Look, you can only do 2 lines of Judge Doom before his spirit consumes your soul.
It's a Judge Doom and Large Marge staring contest. That is a picture. I would like a painting like them staring at each other, hanging out.
That's a velvet painting.
A portrait of the what is the farmer and the American whatever
American Gothic.
American Gothic, Large Marge and Judge Dredd, Judge
Yes.
Doom.
It should have been a judge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gifs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gifs floating around of Large Marge turning into like that ghoul.
Yeah.
And they slow it down, and you really see like the stop motion paper mache thing that they do with her face. And I gotta say, guys, it's pretty fucked up when you watch it that way. It's like
they did bad things.
That movie's that's a PG movie.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot in the 80s.
Yeah.
The only thing safe to watch by 2021 standards is like the breakfast Rube Goldberg sequence. I feel like that's it's jacked up. The rest after the breakfast, the whole movie is fucking horrifying.
How about the bathtub? The bathtub scene.
That's scary.
Okay. How about the
They fight in
how about
The dance in the bar.
The Alamo tour. I guess at the end it gets a little scary.
They threaten his life at the bar.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. You know,
I'm doing a bit here. Work with me.
Okay. The
Jesus
dinosaur park part.
Yeah.
Where, like,
you mean what's the boyfriend's name?
Oh, right. He comes and he gets mad, right?
Chases him around.
Harry.
No, it's not Harry. I just did the goddamn pinball thing. Well, I should know.
Larry. I don't remember.
yeah, I thought you were an expert, man.
Yeah. All right.
The end chase is fun. The end chase through the movie lots. That's fun. When he's using all the
good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
He puts on the nun uniform.
Oh yeah. It's
a good movie. It's a good
movie. All those like surgery clowns working on his bike.
Oh
Shit,
yeah,
man.
that's no good too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, it is not a movie that you can just like plop a 5-year-old in front of and just be like, you're okay, Bob.
Here's
okay,
I'm gonna go do some work. I'm gonna put Pee-wee's Big Adventure on, and I'm also gonna deposit $5,000 into a fund so that we can pay for the therapy in 10 years when you need it. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
I've covered my bases. You're listening to the Giant Beastcast here. We're gonna talk some games. We're gonna get to that in a bit. Just unwinding.
I got something.
Okay.
You got something.
Wait, before we get into it, I don't have too much new here.
This is
a little bit,
not
but...
games.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh, what do you got? Give me the non-game stuff.
I've got banter.
Okay.
Give me some banter.
Give me the good banter. The kind of loosen up a bit.
Yeah, I've got some home ownership content.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, what is involved?
We dealt
Should I go?
Yeah, no. We need this commentary.
You can relate to this.
What you got?
Maybe not at all, but so the mailbox fiasco is behind us.
Okay, great,
Yes.
great. And you
I remember
paid
this.
That's the new one. Got
Great.
the new one installed.
Did they sync a post?
No, you know what he used? He used this like amazing. You ever see Die Hard 3?
Yes.
You know, when like it's like the two things mix.
Yes.
And that's the bomb. That's like the bomb fantasy like materials that they have. This doesn't involve a bomb, but like
I would hope not.
You know, like you got to mix two things to cure them, right?
Epoxy, got it.
Yeah. So he had this like crazy epoxy that he like had to mix these two things with.
Did he have 3 containers though? And he was like, I only need 5 milliliters.
And then he chained me up to one of them.
I've got 3 containers, but the middle one is the one I need to have filled.
By the way,
how do I
like
do
my
this?
That's my favorite riddle. That's my favorite brain buster.
It's in everything. It's everywhere.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you so he puts it, and that's what the post is in. It's not cement. It's like this amazing, like weatherproof. It's basically cement, but like it's as hard as cement.
I assume it's a epoxy, right?
Yes, I love that you love that word, but like that's what it is.
But I think it's a real thing. I think
it is, but like usually you see that and it's like, you know, it's like in like the corners almost as like insulation in places. You know what I mean?
No.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, like that, it's like a foamy sort of substance. No?
I know there's foam. There's like insulation foam and like the stop foam that you put for fire block.
Right. I mean, you know more about that than I do. Anyway, I was surprised as to just how insanely rock solid.
Yeah, that stuff will mess you up, man.
God, like if you had your hand in that,
that's it. You're done.
Whoop, that's it.
Think
about it, that hand.
So we were gonna. Funny story. We were going to for the Donkey Kong feature, the bananas, Burgle My Bananas. My idea was to put the N64 in a plexiglass cube with 2-part epoxy above it, and every time somebody died or whatever it was, you'd release 2-part epoxy in to slowly envelop the machine, so that by the end it would be a cube in basically clear epoxy. But then realize that, like, because it doesn't conduct, you know, it should run, but it would overheat. It would overheat and die prematurely. Would be the thing. Yeah, that was it.
Back to my story.
Sorry, go ahead. Yes, epoxy.
Yeah, so that's not what this is about. Anyway, we got the mailbox installed. All that's good. You know, it snowed 25 inches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've been to my house. I got a pretty insane driveway.
It's sloped down. It's got a grade on it.
It like goes up and turns like right into the garage doors. It's a big project. So I got an electric snowblower like a year ago.
Plug-in one?
Plugs in and it's a battery, so you can do a hybrid. So when it runs out, you just pull rip the cord. It's pretty good for what I paid for it and what it's been able to move. I'm pretty happy with it. So I started doing it in like trips, right? Like the first 5 inches falls, then you do around.
Yeah.
So I maybe stretched that to like every 10 inches.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And we didn't get the the width that I really wanted for the car to fit.
I would just like to say right now, for the record, this conversation out of context is hilarious. Go on. You're talking about going every 10 inches, didn't get the width you wanted. Anyway, by all means, go on.
Yeah, dicks. I get it.
Dicks. That's the dicks.
Right.
So anyway, it's just wide enough for the car to squeeze down. We did it fine. We're fine. Right? Great. The worst part, anyone who lives in suburbia in a snow climate knows the plight of the municipal snowplow. Come around, they fuck up your driveway, right? They come in
that bad snow, that dirty ice, packed,
this I live on a side street, so it's not like black snow the way you sort of see it, but
it's like salted. It's already
it's just gross. It's not the
you
snow
don't want to eat
like
that
play
snow.
In. No, it's the bad snow. Anyway, regardless of what it's made up of, the snow it freaking plows you in.
Super
right?
dense.
It plows you in. Super dense. So I broke through that original, barrier, if you will, and it's like all compacted. So it's like
tough. It's
this happened to be this snow happened to be very light overall. Like this was light snow.
If you got to it early,
you got to it, and this thing just smacked it in. So fine, we broke through with the snowblower with some carving out. We did that. We did the mailbox. Done. We did that like at night, and the snow ended.
Yeah.
The next morning, okay, my neighbor, a couple other people, they've got this like landscaper person that they keep on retainer to like plow them out.
Dang.
So,
all right.
So yeah, I mean, like we could have gone that route, but I take a little pride in doing it myself, as narrow as we did of a job we did. Nevertheless, still happy about it. And we had this guy work on our lawn for a couple months.
Okay.
And we had to let him go.
What is?
We had to let this guy go.
Wow. One blade of brown grass. That
wasn't a great breakup. Not great.
Okay. Huh? Wow, this is some suburbia drama here. Yes, continue.
Where is this going?
You'll see.
Okay.
So, all
right.
Like I said, the night before the morning that everyone got their driveways plowed out by this guy, we were done. I was like, Stace, we're done.
Okay.
If we can get in and out of the driveway, get in and out of the mailbox, which had like 6 feet of snow to the curb. Like, it was crazy. We're done. We're good. See the guys the next morning. I could see from my office down onto the street. I see him and he's pushing the snow all around. And then I look at my camera and I watch this motherfucker.
Look at your camera. I
have like security cameras all over the property.
Dang.
It's the
compound.
It's fucking Fort Knox over here.
I guess so. Okay. Why'd you look out a window?
Because that's too suspicious.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
I can't wait to see where this is going.
I don't want to be like the peeping, I don't want to be the blinds. Yeah, like I don't want to be that guy.
No, you went down to your fucking your security room.
Your panic room.
Just like fire, turn on the.
Give me number 7. Enhance.
Oh no, Dwight Yoakam's trying to break in. Fuck.
That motherfucker. Enhance.
Speaking of motherfuckers, let's call him Ken.
Okay.
I watched Ken fucking take his stupid ass plow.
Oh my gosh.
And from the snow that he removed from my across the street neighbors, pack it back into my fucking driveway.
Oh, damn. Did you pop your white collar and go out there angry? Did you get like super, were you like, this can't happen in my cul-de-sac?
No. So like, I'm just like, I can't believe how blatant he is doing it. He goes back around, dude. He goes back around and then does like another pass to like pack it further in.
That guy's great.
Right?
Well, you gotta move. And that's it. There's only one solution now. You have to move.
And he's like, fuck the baculars. Like, I'm doing this on purpose.
This is intentional.
Fired me.
That's right.
They fired me because I'm a shitty landscape person.
Oh man.
So I was in a meeting, right? So I was like going to talk in a little bit, and I couldn't just bail. Stacey was busy. I don't know what Dylan was doing. Send Dylan out there.
Dylan, go get him.
You beat the shit out of him.
You got to learn at some point, buddy. Get out there.
Anyway, I don't know what my next move is.
Oh, you didn't grab, I'm assuming you have like a Ring doorbell or something. You didn't grab like the speaker thing and were like, hey, stop! Hey, you can't do this to me.
That's my driveway.
Hey, come on, stop. Hey, I gotta get out of there.
Now, people who know me know that I'm not necessarily a stranger to conflict.
No, you love it. You thrive on it.
I don't thrive on it, but
you're not a stranger to it.
I'm going to reciprocate when the situation asks for it, when a situation calls for it. And let's just say, I'm plotting. Now.
Oh, I know where this went.
That's always a good way to go in your life when you're actually making revenge plots for things like minor grievances that happen in your suburban cul-de-sac. That's a good direction for your life to go in. That's definitely not how you end up as like one of the fucking Griswolds.
So it turns out he left his fucking machine there and he went to go do something else. So I got the 2-part epoxy. I opened his fuel tank and I poured it in there.
I'm not suggesting you do this.
I mean, that's
it's just like that's the situation.
Wow.
You know who has these problems? Homer Simpson has these problems. Okay. Next thing you know, you're gonna be a knockdown drag out with the entire waste management department of your town. Like that's the only direction for this to go in.
No, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna retaliate. We stopped giving him business, so that was
wow.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
But
wow.
Now if he keeps doing it, that's a different thing.
There's gonna have to snow again and see what happens.
It
happens.
I mean, there's still plenty of snow.
Actually, it is supposed to snow again, I think. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Anyway, Suburban Drama Hour brought to you by my lonely little street.
I shoveled. That's what I did. Got two types. You got the push and shovel, right? Everybody knows snow. You got the push and shovel. I was able to use the push and shovel for most of it. You get out there early enough, you use that push and shovel. And my biggest problem is I got elderly neighbors that are awesome. They're amazing. To my side here, they're an amazing couple. My wife's known them their whole life, so we
still threw all the snow in there.
So we shovel their sidewalk, and then we have the other neighbor. Nice. And we shoveled to the end of that sidewalk. The house to my right, we used to shovel their sidewalk, but then the people there moved out and nobody was there for a long time. We're like, well, I'm not going to shovel.
Yeah, what are you doing that for?
Because it's like a management company that owns the house. They were renting it. It's a management, and like they could pay. The management company can pay to have that done.
Yes.
So we never did it. But then people moved in. This nice guy moved in with like his 2 teenage sons, and so we're like, I'm not going to do it. You have like teenage sons, like you could shovel this thing. So I stop there. I say hi to him when I'm doing, but I always feel bad when I do the side and then I come back and I'm like, I can't just do the whole block. At some point, you're doing the whole block. But our driveway, man, this is every year. This is when I think about getting a snowblower. Our driveway is an easement behind our house that passes behind 2 other houses.
Yours is tough.
So
man.
I have to shovel 3 plots of land to get to the thing. That took me about 2 hours to shovel that thing, and it's gravel, so I had to get like a 2-stick. Yeah, the whole thing,
dude. And you get like
that's some
rocks
shoveling.
in that auger, dude.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. Anyway, shovel snow.
And look, a lot of people can relate to this because people on the East. If you're on the East Coast, you felt some of this for sure. Probably like
Midwest, you're getting snow. This.
Everyone's getting it. Like. I just can't bring myself to buy like a gas powered snowblower. I just think that's like such a.
I could. The thing is, I don't have anywhere to put it. I would get a thing as wide as my car. I would do it, but where am I going to put it? The place I would put a snowblower, I want to put a bandsaw. These are my problems, like that's my problem. Also, they're expensive, but like I had my dad gave me a snowblower. It didn't work. It was broken.
Yeah, so much upkeep on them, dude. That's
I don't mind that. I like taking engines apart. I think I do.
Like,
I don't know. I've only done it once, and it was broken. So maybe I don't.
Not that electric is like completely, innocent
green
in the whole thing, but like, it just feels so good not having to like smell all that gas and breathe in all that shit.
Yeah, it's not pleasant, and it's not bad for the environment.
Sure. I got 2 kids. I think
they work better.
I think Max is he's probably getting old enough where he could shovel a little snow.
There you go.
That's
why you had kids. That's why you had kids.
I think the next I have the push and shovel. I got a dig and shovel. I think I need like for this one. This one taught me. I think I just need that metal like wide thing to chip the ice out on some of that stuff. This was there was some deep down. I got to yell at the kids. Hey, nobody run on the snow yet because you're gonna pack it down. You're gonna make it harder for me to shovel later on. I'm gonna shovel it, and it's just gonna be little footprints on the sidewalk that I'm not gonna be able to get up, and then those are gonna turn to ice. Anyway, let's talk about video games. I played hard pivot here. I played let's talk about the medium. Let's talk about the medium. I played some of that. I have not really enjoyed it that much, but I think Backler, you probably played the most. It is reminiscent of like the Silent Hill stuff. It's a fixed camera. Like it's got that vibe of running around looking for the glowy object kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The hook in it is you can inhabit 2 split screen kind of 2 worlds at the same time. This kind of spirit realm and the real realm. I feel like it's really trying for a vibe, and I'm not sure it's quite getting it. It's got this really elaborate intro sequence that is like a 9 Inch Nails meets 7 kind of meets kind of like
we found this archival footage in the former Soviet archives, and check it out, here's a bunch of people at an old fucking Polish resort, and boy, I bet nothing menacing happened to them.
It is amazing how you just need to find that like archive footage, and it's just with the right music, it's like, oh, this is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, but like it never really creeps me out, and this is the problem sometimes playing games from work when you're like, hey, I gotta get through some of this stuff. I have kind of limited time. It's not hooking me right away. But this is the work part of it. I gotta play this game, and you're like, okay, all right, come on, let's go a little bit. Let's figure it out. I'm running. Well, let me finish with because I don't want to hate on the game, but I think there's some issues with like, okay, here's the part I really dislike the most, and it's a nitpick thing, but it really affects
pick those nits.
I'm gonna pick this nit, and it's something you can change. But the game has you run on left trigger and then basically use your spirit flashlight. Well, I'll just call it that. The thing that hunts around for things in the other realm on left bumper.
Yeah.
So you're holding down left trigger by default. You're holding down left trigger and left bumper, and that's just not how. That's not how people hold a controller, right? That's not. You don't want to.
I mean, I do, but it's. I don't love it.
Anyway, yeah, the game. I spent too much time running around. I'm not trying to hate on it. Maybe it picks up, but I spent too much time. Yeah, I kind of am. I spent too much time running around looking for like the door handle at the Niwa.
Did you get the flesh knife?
I love that flesh knife.
I don't think I got that far.
Yeah, there's a part where there are like some weird flesh doors in the spirit realm, and you have to get a bone knife to cut that shit open, and it's like a really gross letter opener is how I would describe it.
Okay.
It is satisfying, but also, God, what am I doing here?
The flesh flaps. There's there's some flesh flapping.
So Backler, you've enjoyed it so far, or you've liked it, right?
Okay.
So what do you like about it?
So, you described a lot of what I kind of talked about last week, where, and again, like I still am drawn into the game from the notion of like, yeah, this is the creepy Silent Hill itch that nothing really has scratched in many, many years. I'm going to see this through. I'm going to keep playing it. The more I play it, the more I feel like that excitement has started to dwindle and slowly head in the opposite direction. Because where I'm at in this game right now, I've already passed the point of forcing myself to play the game.
You have already, and like I feel like you, like when we talked about this before. Again, this is the medium. You were like, I'm excited for this. I love the spooky stuff. I really like the Silent Hill stuff. This is my jam.
I wanted to like it so goddamn bad, and like you said,
because those are not necessarily my jam. Like I like the Resident Evil stuff, but they're a little more action oriented. I kind of dig some of the Silent Hill stuff, but not always. So I was like, maybe I'm just bouncing off of this because I'm not. This isn't for me. But it's interesting to hear you come, because when last time I talked to you about it, you were like, yeah, no, I'm digging it. So that's
yes. It's not before long that you are entering rooms that are very frustrating, and doing these, every now and then the game changes from the forced perspective to some sort of like action sequency, I guess you can call it. And those are not good. And
like there's no combat, but there are some moments.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just sort of coming up short for me. And I have, the thing that story-wise that, and I said this last week, like the story wasn't necessarily making it or breaking it for me. It was just sort of there. It was more for me like I want to be spooked. Like that was the thing. I want to feel the creeps, and it's not good.
Yeah, the things it's doing scare wise are just like the only things I've really gotten out of it are cheap jump scares. Like there are some unsettling set pieces and like notions kind of peppered throughout. Like what I've only played a couple of hours, but it's just like nothing. Like my problem with survival horror games, especially of like that Silent Hill and like Fatal Frame, like that kind of ilk, is that I find them too tense. Like I find them unpleasant to play because they are just stressing me out to a point where I don't want to go to the places the game needs me to go. And that's like effective, just not my thing. I'm having the opposite effect here where I'm getting none of that. And like, I'm just also getting kind of bored because I keep waiting for the game to do something that isn't just, oh, she's getting into the spirit world and now everything's screaming for 5 seconds again. Or just a thing showed up, when I peered through a wall, it's like, blah! And it's like, that's also not good, just in a different way. And it's like, I don't think it doesn't feel like it has a whole lot going on that isn't just like a very basic level of, look how dreadful this all is. And it never really conveys that in a way that actually impacts, or at least for me, like makes me feel tense or feel like I should be feeling what this character is feeling.
It's like a mechanic looking for a game. It's like the game mechanic looking for a game to live in, and like they try to the dual screen stuff, right? And they try to you can do that out of body experience stuff where you start fading away after a while, and I thought those puzzles were not that engaging. I'm like, at least what I played, again, I'm only a couple hours into, like, charge up your thing and then go use your ghost energy to power the fuse box for the
in
thing.
the real world.
In the real world.
I know.
Well, it's
just like the thing I will give it is that I think I love the fixed camera stuff. I think that when it's done well and it's applied effectively, it's the way to go with those kinds of games.
Yeah.
And I think that for the most part, the way they've applied it in the game, from what I've played of it, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like it frustrates or misses. Like, it's easy to miss stuff. But other than that, I just haven't really gotten much of anything out of it. And I think that the acting is not great and the writing is not great. I don't know. It's just like a lot of it just feels very middling to me.
Medium. Feels medium.
Yeah, medium talent.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's the constant narration thing is not working for me either. They're kind of like,
that's all very uneven.
I guess I got this new power now. It's a spirit shield. I didn't know I could do that. Like, what? Okay, we'll block the bees. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
It just stinks like they introduced the duality thing, and I don't know. The first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, there might be really cool ways that we can mess around with it. Because I first thought, and I guess I wasn't paying attention too much, which should tell you everything you need to know about the story. But I thought maybe like, oh, she's gonna send shit to herself through time. Somehow.
Oh.
Right? Which might have been cool.
That would be a very different game, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Vinny.
Okay.
Saying.
Okay.
And and then I came to, you come to find out that like, oh, it's not really much of a thing, and maybe it's more of kind of like a gimmick. And yeah, like I said, I have not had this happen to me in a while, where I go in and I knew next to nothing about the game, was jazzed on it, and then just this very gradual letdown.
You lost the energy for it.
Has sort of taken place.
Did you finish it? Oh, you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it.
I wonder how long it is. So you guys are gonna record a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna record a thing, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Curious.
And
curious, I should look up the length of the runtime on it. I
don't think it's super long.
I just got there were two spots where I was like, I think I might just look up where this thing is. Like, I don't know if I want to run around this parking lot. I did look up actually where that door handle was. It's like, I don't want to run around this parking lot forever, following these footsteps for the kid, looking for the butterflies.
So there's actually a really weird signposting in that game where, especially in that part, like the open area in the real world, where they will just paint arrows on the ground.
I tried following those. Yeah, maybe I missed something. I was like, I was like, oh, a car that's here. Got it. Okay. Anyway, the medium, I'm not digging it so far. I'll be curious to see what you guys say in the quick look for it. Destiny 2. Let me tell you, the season pass is about to expire, and I think I'm 5 levels away from finishing it up. I think if I hustle, I can get in there. I can do it. I can run some gambits. I think I just need to wait for another double XP for 5 levels thing to pop. I think there was a weekly. I think the season pass ends February 9th. So I'm close. I'm striking distance to the point where I'm thinking about like, maybe if I'm close enough, I'll just buy out the rest of those levels. It's like $1 per level, and it only goes up to 100. You guys get it. You know what I'm talking about. Backlar, have either of you ever finished out a season pass?
No.
On anything
in
like
Destiny or anywhere?
No, anywhere.
I don't know how. Yeah, no, there's nothing I play that like has that.
Call of Duty, I would think.
Yeah, but how do I finish this? I mean, like,
yeah, that's what
when
I'm
you
wondering.
say finish the season pass, what do you mean?
You get to the last marker on it, like level 100 or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I've definitely leveled it out.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm cool.
That is pretty good. So I don't
think I play a lot of Call of Duty. But,
I think can Call of Duty? Is there any currency in it that you can buy the season pass with?
Yeah. There's like those they're like the C coin things. I don't know what. Yeah, and Call of Duty coins.
Because I don't think that's in Destiny 2, and I think that's a bummer. Like I don't think you can use bright dust or whatever to buy the next season pass, but we'll see. I don't know.
Well, oh, you mean like in-game currency?
Yeah, like stuff you earn from the season pass to buy the next season pass.
I feel like in the season pass, like there's certain chapter marks where you earn like 100 COD points or whatever they call it.
Okay.
But I don't know. You can
like
pay for like a whole big thing.
Like Red Dead, you could use in-game gold to buy the season pass, and you usually get enough gold from the season pass to more than cover that. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, that's I think I finished most of the story stuff there. Coming around on stasis, I've plugged in a bunch of little modules into my stasis power. I think that's power's pretty good. I'm gonna say I think I'm a gambit monster. I think you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out for this guy. I got
the said that about you.
I'm rocking. Thank you. It's I've got the width. You know what I'm saying? I got that malfeasance gun. You gotta get 4 kills on an invasion, and I did, and I was pretty happy about that. I've done it a couple of times now, and I like that malfeasance hand cannon. I'm using that, and gnawing hunger is my other one I got there. That falling guillotine. You know what I'm saying? Spin the wind, baby.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what
got
I mean?
all that.
No raids yet. I haven't done a raid yet. The Dyson, that's Destiny 2. Dyson Sphere project. I think I just have
working
to
on that.
Yeah, I think I just have to put the pin on that, or not a pin. I just have to say, okay, we're gonna record this quick. Like I just don't think I'm gonna get to the part of building the Dyson Sphere. Thanks to people who reached out and were like, hey, if you need to borrow a save or jump in or something, because those games take a while to get there. So it's still in early access.
How many hours so far would you say you've dumped into that thing?
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard question. Like it's not like 50. But
I mean, Steam tells you it's not always accurate.
Yeah,
but it does tell you.
I could look it up. If I had to guess, it's probably somewhere in the 15.
Okay,
15 or something. It's not bananas. It's a weird game though, because you can idle while research is happening in the background. So you can just leave it running and go get dinner and let your research churn in the background. Having some problems with my oil production. It's not efficient.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. You get to a certain age, and that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. It's just not flowing.
The oil doesn't come out the way it used to.
Like it used to. I need to make more red cubes.
Fucking gross, man. Fucking gross.
That's Dyson Sphere project in early access. That's the Factorio-like game. The more I play it, the more Factorio-ish it is. I can definitely. I'll talk about it in the quick look when we do it, or the unfinished when we do it, but definitely some stuff I can see them adding to that game. If people know and want to message me, is there a way to upgrade from like Mark 1 to Mark 2 conveyor belts or infrastructure without having to tear it all down and rebuild it? Because that's nice. If I could just click on the thing. What? Why are you laughing? This is a real thing.
It's just such. I don't know. Yeah, no. It's
great.
Like, it's like walking into a foreign language class and you're just like, oh, well, I wonder what they're saying. I wonder what they're saying.
You build the whole conveyor belt. You build your whole system. Then suddenly you research ones that are faster. Do you want to rip that all out and have to lay it all down, or do you want to just be able to select it and say upgrade it all if you have the materials?
I mean, look. I'm sure that all makes sense to you. That's awesome.
Oh, please. This is just basic. This is basic factory building.
Just basic rotational rotor spec.
Yeah. Who doesn't know that?
Okay. Hitman 3. Played some more of that. You can catch Alex was there, Jan was there, and as Brad and I competed against each other to see who was not necessarily the best Hitman, but the fastest to just get in and get out. And that's a lot of fun. We made it halfway through in 2 hours. That should tell you something about how fast we are. And we'll hopefully pick that up soon. But yeah, playing more of that. Still, I think those levels are varied enough and interesting enough. I still have really mixed feelings on that Berlin level. I think it's a kind of an amazing level design, but the mission, if you watch the thing, it's where I got caught up, because you actually have to stealth your way through some of that because it's so crowded. Whereas in the other levels, you kind of just hide behind a corner, do your thing. There's a lot of back places.
I think I'm at the point where I think that is genuinely one of their best levels.
I think it's a great level, but the mission
is such a weird departure from the normal clockwork of those levels. And it's like, yes, I agree that the in-story mission objective is maybe not my favorite, but I think actually going back to it with the targets marked and just not having to really think too much about the story and just kind of doing it that way, I don't know. And part of it is just the setting. I think the setting is one of the best they have.
Yeah.
But I think that the structure of it is also really interesting. And I think there are enough like weird nooks and crannies built into that environment that I like. I don't know. I feel like I found a couple of new things each time I've played it.
I think I need to play more of the story stuff in that level. I'm going to go back and like do some of the mastery on that level.
Well, because they're not marked the way the other like story threads, like but not the story, but like the like sort of like the beat by beat assassination like designed ones. Like they don't mark them the way they do the other levels.
I haven't done too many of them, and also the level just is sprawling in a way. There's like compartments on that level that are just completely different zones. Like you're in the biker gang part, you're in the upstairs, you're in the behind the scenes, you're on the club floor. So I think I need to explore that level more and check it out. But yeah, Vinny ran up against the wall on that one in terms of like, well, I guess I can't just walk into the crowd and just get my target and run out, because A, you have to get 5 of them, and B, it's packed. It's a packed level, which was funny. I enjoyed that and can't wait to pick it up again next week. But more Hitman 3, well designed. I don't know if they have any news on what's going on with the Steam stuff and.
No, nothing on that front.
They
did just announce their like February content roadmap, which is like, here's the new escalations and targets and other things that we're going to be doing over the course of the month. But they haven't said anything, I think, about that stuff yet. I did end up finishing the campaign last weekend, and so I've now been going back into some of the older maps and doing some other stuff. But I will just say I did not love the last level. I think they tie up the story well enough. I'm fine with the beats of the story that take place over it, but like the progression in it and the approach to it, I think is just not really the way I want Hitman stuff to go these days, at least not this version of Hitman. But honestly, like other than that and like not loving the Chongqing and Dubai maps, I think the other 3 are all great. And I think that the other 2 are just sort of like not my favorites.
I like Dubai. The map in China, I think, is it's weird. It seems big, but then feels small. I feel like you're just running. It's another map where I think you're spending a lot of time on rooftops running between buildings. But I need to explore some more of the story stuff. I actually kind of like the narrative stuff in that China level, but once you're in the facility, that part with the scanning I didn't love. So I don't want to talk too much of the story.
The phone and the scanning is like not a great addition to Hitman. Like it's like, a one that makes sense, but it just doesn't really. It isn't applied in a way that's interesting.
Yeah. I could see maybe escalations or something being interesting, where you got to get into a part and take a picture. Like you have to get into this really hard place to get into and take a picture of something. Could be a fun mechanic. But yeah, it's feels a little forced in that level. And I think that last level. It's definitely a departure. I'm curious to see them try it, or I was curious to see them try it. I've seen some people say they went through it kind of brute forcing, and I went through it just complete stealth my way through it. So I think there is interesting stuff there, and I will be interested to see how the Hitmazing race goes when Brad and I try to tackle that level.
Yes, I do think that would be fun.
So Hitman 3. Alex, you play anything else, or does that kind of cover it?
It was those 2. I mean, there is one other game I'm playing, but it is embargoed until next week, so we'll talk about it on next week's show. But I finished Hitman's campaign. I played some of the medium. Other than that, I've just been kind of fucking around with old games over the last few days. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Bacalar.
Hey,
what's going on?
I haven't really been playing much beyond medium and Hitman. One of my favorite maps of, I guess all of Call of Duty is coming, I think today or yesterday. It's the train map called Express.
What's it? I don't know. I don't know Call of Duty maps. What is that?
Yeah. It's
DE Dust.
It's like a train station where some of it involves like a moving train that goes through the level that could really
say train again. Just keep saying
dirty.
Train.
Do you real dirty on that train?
Dirty train.
So I'm excited about that
train.
I got to ice skate for the first time.
Oh wow, good for you.
March.
How did you hold up? How are the legs?
The legs are fine. I did something to my wrist. I'm not sure if that's connected, but I'm okay.
Were you playing hockey or just kind of skating?
No, just a buddy of mine rented out a little rink. And my kid was taking lessons and his kid was taking lessons, and we invited like one other family. So we did like, the sort of outdoor makeshift rink with the masks and everything. And that was fun. And, then I tried to skate. So I live around the corner from a soccer field that my town deliberately floods for the winter.
No
so
kidding.
You can skate on it. Yeah.
All right.
And the water's not that thick. The water's only about 2 to 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
And before the snowstorm, we had sub 20 days for like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, it was cold.
It's cold, but for some reason it just wasn't freezing. It was freezing, but just like you need, I mean, on a lake, you're supposed to have like 4 inches of ice before you even think about stepping onto it.
Yeah.
This is just, the idea is this whole thing just freezes solid, right? Because it's not deep and you just get on and start skating. But below it was water. And like the second I got, I'm like, so there were like certain corners that get a lot of shade that like kids were playing,
softer,
shinny on and stuff like that.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Shinny is like non-aggressive pickup hockey where you're just like, you just wear gloves and skates, and it feels like I fucking live in North Dakota sometimes. And like, people just no one's like winding up, no one's trying to kill each other. You're just trying to make like nice passes, and
they call it shinny because everybody gets hit in the shins with the stick.
Probably, and also because no one really wears shin guards, although you probably should either way, because man, a frozen puck on your bare shin is not a thing you want to experience. But yeah, like that's the thing. And so like all those kids were playing in the corner, and then I took my little guy on and wanted to skate in the little area. Second I got on that ice, it was like a movie with the cracks. Like you look below, it was like, and I'm just like,
F this.
And then I guess Dylan didn't realize like, oh, it's only 2 inches of water. Like we're not gonna drown. And he's like, God, you're gonna sink. And I'm like, no,
did he go prone flat?
Like my foot just went like that through it. I'm like, no, dude, it's cool.
Give him the stick.
We're okay. Do you want me to call 911?
Don't give him the stick. Yeah. So yeah, like that was a fun experience finally getting to skate. In terms of games, no, that's really all I've been doing. That's fun though.
Yeah, like what?
Well, I was gonna say, is this where you tell us that there's another pinball machine somewhere?
I started rubbing my knees, and I was like,
"Oh, you can't be getting pinball machines delivered in this weather, man! Come on!"
No, that's the thing.
Turns out Ken blocked it in the driveway, so couldn't get my new pinball machine. No, nothing new.
No, nothing new right now. Ask me again in 2 months. I might have a different answer for you. But right now, no, we're good to go. Speaking of which, this weekend I will be either streaming Guns N' Roses or Avengers. So we'll do that on Saturday. That'll be fun. And what else?
Oh,
so I've decided with my static electricity situation.
Yeah.
So I'm still shocking everything, and I think what I need to do is just get like a little humidifier. Like that's the only thing I can really
get. One of those like little duck ones, one of those little kid ones that you get, like the you get for like kids' rooms that are adorable, like a anime one. I was gonna say a Totoro one, but like it's just got like a little cute bear.
Generalized anime could be anything.
Yeah. Hey, pick your poison.
I want the capacity to be like serious. Like I don't want to have to change the water. I don't have to fill up the water every day.
Well, you filter your water. You're like have a house filter, right, on your thing. Okay. Yeah. Because like,
have you considered walking around in like slippers with rubber soles? Maybe that would help a little bit.
It doesn't do shit.
Yeah, okay.
Have you considered listening to Rubber Soul?
A little bit.
Okay.
I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. Look, I have a metal keyboard now that I shock every day. It undocks and docks, and like I'm just living with it. Yeah. Sometimes I have to manually unplug it for it to work, but I am shocking everything all the time. It is crazy. It is crazy. It's like it's my first winter. I don't understand, but this is
Maybe
the situation I'm in.
Superpowers, man.
Well,
Maybe
this is the worst fucking superpower in the history of
Yeah, because
No.
like cool electricity powers, shit shooting out of your fingers.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Yeah.
powering on generators. Like, there's all kinds of cool shit. This is just annoying.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
but you could
there's
be annoyed.
there's Shakalar. He fried the mini PCB in my blender.
No, like you go up to
Fuck
like
you.
no, you go up to like a data pad or something, like a touch keypad or something. You're like zap, you're like
It's not- I don't carry enough wattage to do any damage there.
Yeah, you
man.
could go to Ken's snowplow thing and go like fry his starter on it. Be like,
What are you gonna do about it? Zap.
that tingles. What are you doing?
Hey, that's a minor inconvenience.
Ooh,
Zap.
oh, that's a little mildly uncomfortable.
Zip. So yeah, I'm yeah. That look, these
Yeah.
are, you know, I make fun of people. I say get some real problems. These are not real problems. So,
So you're gonna humidify. You're gonna put a fine mist.
yeah, just
on
gonna
everything.
pour water all over
Yeah,
everything.
just get that.
Just
Get
gonna
a,
pour water on
get
it
a
all.
swamp
I mean,
cooler.
like that's to me the thing, and you know, it's like wondering. I was like, well, how come all this shit didn't happen to me in Hoboken? It's like, oh, because I had hardwood floors everywhere in Hoboken.
Oh, but you've been in this house like this isn't your first winter, right?
It's not my first winter. Shocks were definitely a thing last winter. I think last winter was a very mild. You know what it was? I
What?
wasn't home all day during the
Yeah,
winter.
we talked about this last time. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
so,
That's the
like,
conclusion.
that's
right?
the thing,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
the thing.
So,
All right. Well, that's fun.
that's-
Let me see your humidifier when you get it. I hope you at least put googly eyes on it and it looks fun.
Yeah.
We bought
Yeah,
humidifiers for the kids and like never used them. We have also I don't know why we bought humidifiers. You get them like they were on like a registry or something. I don't know, something. We got them. We never used them. I think I used it once, and we don't filter our water here, so it was like weird, like Jersey goop that would, after the water leaves
I
behind.
don't think Jersey water's like goopy. I mean, it's hard.
It's hard
It could
as
be
hell.
hard.
Yeah, it leaves like lime deposits. So it's
Yeah.
and that doesn't carry in the mist. So you have to clean that thing out. Anyway, we have radiators with steam heat. So our winters are humidified already.
It's nice.
It is nice.
We don't have pushed air, but if I had a pushed air system for heat, I would humidify that.
Yeah, I've heard that's really dry. The forced air stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a
we have the
closed hot
baseboard.
water.
Yeah.
Right.
Hot water baseboard. But yeah.
I was
Anyway.
thinking, check this out. I was thinking, I'm thinking about maybe redoing the garage someday, right? Like, we don't park in the garage. I just use it as my workshop, and the concrete slab there is old and it's cracked. And I was like, man, someday I'd like redo this floor. Radiant heat. Heat.
Yeah, we have that in the bathroom.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Wow, that is so fancy.
It's fancy, but like I almost never use it. My wife does every now and then, but I appreciate it, but like I don't. It takes a little while to warm up, and
Sure.
I think there's a good time and a good place for it.
Oh, what heats the water that runs through the pipes in the floor? Like, is it come out of like the hot water heater, or is there like a
Got
separate
it.
furnace?
I'm sure there's another. Actually, it might be electric.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember one time we put it on and we blew a fuse. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I was like, oh man, just for let's like lay down some PEX or something and then pour concrete on top of it and then someday run hot water.
I think that stuff is super neat. I think like a lot of that is how snow removal like kind of should be, especially like on like sidewalks.
Yeah. Just
know?
everybody right, put the hot water pipe, everybody lease out a little of your hot water into the sidewalk.
I watch all these shows. Like, remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I was obsessed with that show, Grand Homes or something like that. That British channel, that Channel 4 show. Like everyone who builds a house over there, beginning in 2010 was like, radiant heat, like our driveway, the floors, like any place that could get cold. And they were doing it in some economic, environmentally conscious way. They were. It wasn't like they were just like heating with oil everywhere. They were like, no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the slab on the thing and convert that into like friction, and that will heat the thing, and we'll be fine. And it's like, oh, you guys got it figured out. Yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to the news? Is that it?
I think so.
Every time you should
it.
hook up a thing, so every time you use the pinball machine, there's a little bit of friction generated from the bumpers.
I got everyone was giving me shit because I had 7 pinball machines in one room. You told me my room was gonna collapse.
Yeah.
So people in the chat were like, "You're gonna explode your house." Like,
yeah.
I talked to an electrician. Electrician was like, "Dude, come on, you're not gonna."
Well, no, I mean, but the weight was the problem.
Yeah, but that was a problem, and so the floor
so
sinks a little bit now.
Right?
But like,
there's a slight
whatever. At least you know where. If you drop a ball, you know where it's gonna go.
That's right. As long as you angle the pinball machines so that it goes towards the back of the pinball machine, hey, that's good, right? Better for me. All right, we're gonna take a quick break here. Let's get the this whole business queued up here. We take a quick break. We'll be back with some news, some interesting news. Alex, I didn't get a chance to look over it all, but
there's some stuff.
That's some stuff is happening.
There's some things.
Stick around. We're gonna take 5 if you're watching live. If you're listening, we'll be back in just a second. And we are back. Hello, folks. Back here with the news that I was just reading over. Alex Navarro, you have gone and compiled such a bouquet of news today. Such a sprinkling, highs and lows, weird.
Yeah, it's
unruly.
fragrant, not always in a good way.
Where do you want to start on this list?
We'll just start at the top and work our way down. How's that sound?
Yeah, I like it. Let me pull up this first story.
So, Stadia, we know they exist and they've continued to exist, but not necessarily made any serious waves.
Google's streaming platform for games.
Pay for it.
Yes,
I pay for it.
You say that with the air of boy, I wish I didn't, but you know.
I mean, I wouldn't pay for it if CNET didn't pay for it, but
right. Actually, you don't.
Let me rephrase. I pay for it and then give the bill to CNET, and CNET's like, this shit again, and I'm like, I know.
I bought that Founders Edition and did not get reimbursed for it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. You should. Well, you should.
Well, the main thrust here is that, as we all know, Stadia is continued to exist, has not necessarily made any significant waves since it has launched in the last year and a half. And they are already at the point now where they are starting to refocus some efforts over at the Stadia division of Google. So the service itself is not going away or anything, but the internal development studios, of which I believe there were 2, flagged to make games for Stadia exclusively, have effectively been shut down. Google will no longer be making, or at least at this time, they're not planning on developing any new games for Stadia exclusively. I think the stuff that was almost done is still scheduled to come out, but the stuff that was further down the pipeline will probably not happen. Jade Raymond has left the company, and about 150 developers from those 2 studios are going to be affected by this. I don't know if that means full layoffs or if they will just be reassigned to other parts of Google. Hard to say. Phil Harrison's still there because, boy, once you get Phil Harrison somewhere, can't seem to get rid of that dude.
Jesus.
I'm just saying, Phil Harrison must give a great fucking job interview. If you follow the arc of that guy's career,
he's got a good resume. Like
that's the thing. He's got a good resume. I don't really know.
All you need. Let me tell you, Alex. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
So this isn't Stadia shutting down. This is in-house development on Stadia.
Yeah, and they seem like they are going to try and redouble their efforts to reach more out to third-party publishers and developers, not just to get services on or games on their service, but also to potentially offer their tech to other companies that want to do streaming gaming stuff.
Let me just interject there for a second. I feel like the last time I took a look at Stadia was comparing it to the Xbox Cloud thing. And my opinion did change on Stadia performance-wise. Like, I do think Stadia might still do that thing better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe with NVIDIA a close second. But yeah, that's aside from this news, I mean, that does not go, unchanged.
Well, I mean, porting the tech is where I think that would go.
And the main thing is that, like, again, it's not that the tech is awful or anything by any stretch. It works a lot better, I think, than most people expected it to. It's if not it's certainly not flawlessly, but it's worked pretty well for especially for specific kinds of games. But the thing is, like, the lineup has never been super exciting. I think they really shot themselves in the foot with the whole you have to rebuy these games on this service. You can't just subscribe to a monthly fee thing.
Yeah,
and it's just.
I mean, you could subscribe to a monthly thing and get some free games, but for the most part,
it's not just like the Netflix model, like
right.
It's not like the game comes with the service and you can just play it as long as you keep subscribing to it.
Right,
yeah, and it's like I think people were looking for something more like that when they announced it and when they put it out there. So it feels like they haven't found a way to recalibrate and get that interest back up after people kind of saw what it was.
I think they're also up against things like a really aggressive Xbox Game Pass and a very and even PS Now and PS Plus offering games for little subscription stuff, but pretty good value on those services to get your games if you are in those ecosystems.
Yeah.
And for us, rebuying games, a back catalog is tough. But I think for me, the thing that I hope the most, and the thing I think that put the nail in the coffin for it for me was Stadia never showed me a great reason why this is a better thing to do for me than get it on my PC. Like if they had showed me the game that's like you can only do this with Stadia, then I think I would have been more on board. Like the thing you have to get on Stadia, right? Like, oh my gosh, we can tap into all these computers and this is incredible, and the power behind this couldn't be done on a home system, and that never really existed. So I think for me that's what I really wanted, but I do believe their tech will find its way to other places. And Google, I think people said it at the time, right? And they're like, Google starts up things and shuts things down all the time and moves the pieces around, or Alphabet, whatever you want to call it. So I think the Stadia story is not done by a long shot.
Oh no, not hardly, but I think it does signal that they are recognizing that, we are not making the footprint in this industry that we want to, which is, I mean, they're not alone in that. Like Amazon has had their problems too.
Did they ever want to?
They wanted the bona fides and they wanted the success. I don't necessarily think they were as invested in doing the work to establish themselves. Like they had a cool technology and they thought that would be it. That's all they needed was the cool tech. And I think that is a repeated issue with large tech organizations trying to make their way into the games market is they look at the tech and they say, that's all we need. And that's not always all you need.
Yeah, you got to... sorry, go ahead, Backlash.
No, I was going to say, like, I only play Stadia. So I have a very strange use case for this. I only play Stadia in bed. And when I like go away, I'll like bring the Chromecast with me and bring a controller, and that's like the thing. And I just think like that was a big, I realize like I'm not a typical use case, and like someone who makes that their primary gaming thing, would have a different sort of relationship with the service, but like it just doesn't feel like it is as ingrained as it sort of could be. Like you said, like I don't think Stadia's story is over.
Yeah.
But it just, it's also just not designed very well. I know like that's a maybe a bit of like an easy criticism, but like it isn't. It is not as easy to use as you think it should be.
And I'm somebody who plays PC a lot of the time on that Steam Link in my living room, and I'm used to a somewhat compromised PC experience. It streams at 1080. It has not noticeable to me, but I'm sure noticeable to some people, latency in that stream and back and forth. And I thought Stadia would be an interesting thing, but I think it never showed me a reason why I need to go to Stadia. And it's someone who is maybe I'm not that target audience for that stuff. I thought the appeal was like, oh man, this would be great for like my brothers or people who don't necessarily want to keep up with PC racing through video cards and all that stuff. But then you got to worry about what service you're on and that stuff, and that's a tough market. We'll see what happens with Stadia. I still think the tech was really interesting. I think streaming games For me, the ideal, and this has changed now with PS5 and Xbox One because those download speeds seem faster than they have been.
Yeah,
sorry,
they're good.
not, Series X, sorry, not one.
Mm-hmm.
They seem faster. I don't know if it's fewer people are hitting those servers or the write speeds on the drives are faster, but it definitely seems faster than on PS4 and Xbox One.
I think it's more the latter. I think it's more the latter because I'm pretty sure those systems are running on roughly the same networks that the other consoles were running on.
Okay, yeah. So, whatever it is, but I was going to say the ideal would be you buy a game and you could start streaming it while it's downloading in the background in a way that lets you play the game, or you buy the game and you stream as much of it as you want until you put the thing to sleep and it downloads in the background. I think I want that implementation.
Unless you put the console to sleep and then it doesn't boot back up again. That's a different problem.
Yes, that's a different problem.
Was it the vapor chamber?
That on the Xbox?
That was the One X, right? That was the One X with the vapor chamber.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's old. All right, what else you got, Alex?
Oh boy, what else do we have? So this is I don't really know how to make heads or tails of this one. Maybe you guys can help me out. The basic premise is pretty straightforward. Gearbox has been acquired. They have been acquired by a group known as the Embracer Group. Who are they? They are the company that owns THQ Nordic. They own Saber Interactive, and I believe they have also acquired Aspyr, the developers of lots of Mac ports. And they also merged with some Cypriot mobile developer at the same time that all this is going on. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on in this story.
Embracer,
a lot of moves are being made. But the main thing here is that Gearbox has been acquired by this group. For what I can gather, about $350 million actual dollars, and then roughly $700 million in incentives and other things that are coming down the pipes. So it amounts to what they are calling a $1.3 billion deal. Okay. But as far as I can tell, a lot of that is incentives from what I was able to gather. Okay. Not cash. But nonetheless, this is happening, and according to Randy Pitchford in a very long-winded statement, this should not impact their current slate of development, whatever the hell that is. And they're now part of this company, which I really don't know what to make heads or tails of as far as like what Embrace is, what they are trying to do, other than just have a lot of different flags planted around video games. I've seen a lot of speculation. I can't speak to any of that. It seems like a weird shell corporation that might be doing something in the background that feels weird, but I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it.
Okay.
I was hoping maybe one of you would, but apparently not.
I don't know. The whole thing just sounds like, I don't know. Weird shell corporation sounds weird.
It's a holding company. Like,
yeah.
Is it? I don't know. It sounds like the Red Ventures of video game development world. Is it just like, are they just buying stuff? Are they just making moves? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're just
you want more of the stuff.
They want more of the stuff.
So you go and get the stuff.
Yeah.
You got to get that stuff.
Oh, you mean
that's
acid?
How you get the stuff.
Yeah, it's Gearbox. Weird place for Gearbox, right? Like,
yeah, I don't really know where they're at these days. Like, I'm sure Borderlands 3 did fine for them. I don't think Godfall is doing particularly well for them, but I also don't know how much capital they threw at that thing. So I couldn't tell you. Like, I don't know what the state of that company is. I mean, it's in a state where at some point Randy Pitchford said, "Hey, would someone like to give me money for the company?" And they said yes. So he did that. But like, I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what level of as far as I know, none of the people I ever knew who worked at Gearbox that were not Randy Pitchford are still there. So I don't really know what the shape of that company is.
And nobody knows what's going on at THQ Nordic.
Yeah, no one knows what's going on with this Embrace group. Like, I don't really. These are interesting companies to acquire because none of them are that big. I think Gearbox is probably the biggest entity they have acquired so far.
That seems right.
But Saber does some stuff. Aspyr makes some stuff. I don't know much about this mobile developer they just acquired, but some people on the internet seem to think it might be some kind of money laundering thing. I don't know.
It says
I can't tell you if that's true or not.
This Polygon news story here says the Embracer Group is based in Karlstad, Sweden, and previously known as THQ Nordic AB, Parent company boasts 57 internal game studios and more than 200 owned franchises. Man.
I mean,
oh man, they which includes Satisfactory.
Oh geez.
And Wreckfest.
Huh.
and
Wait, they own Bugbear?
And Kingdoms of Amalur. Yeah, I think they didn't THQ buy Bugbear.
These guys are big. I feel like a dumbass just sort of uncovering the obviousness of information that's available on the internet live on the podcast, but they're a big dog company.
This is big dog.
I mean, their stock price is like $234.
That's no GameStop, but you know.
Yeah, now it very much is. Yeah.
Big dogs.
I did not include an update on the GameStop's stock situation this week because boy, that all seems like it's crashing and burning, and that feels bad.
I got really tired. I hit a point where I got really tired of hearing about GameStop stuff, unless I was somebody who was going to say, also, don't you remember you bought GameStop stock years ago? Now you're a millionaire. So like at some point, I just was like, I don't want to hear this anymore. I don't want to hear the story anymore. I just want somebody to cut me a check too. That's like, here's your $1 billion.
That's not how it works. You have to.
Yes, I know. No,
if you want somebody to cut you a check, you need to talk to Joe Biden, okay? Because they fucking that shit needs to happen.
You got to sell it at the right point there.
No, I don't want to do that. No. Stop it.
You're like, no, that's not.
Stop. I don't want to swim in that pool. That's dangerous. There's sharks in there. I'm looking at more of this Embracer stuff. Okay, Aspire. I want to say they also make a bunch of board game. I feel like I've seen them do like board game video game versions of board games. Anyway, Alex, what's next?
So a couple of EA things here. There's some previews out of the Mass Effect the Legendary Edition, the new collection that they are doing of the 3 main Mass Effect games and almost all their DLC. I don't know if you got the chance to look at any of these, Vinny, but there's a lot of lens flare now.
Yeah, but it was always glowy. There was glowy.
It's like glowier. It's HDR glowy now.
It's glowy. It's got a lot of glowy. That's okay.
Yeah. No, it looks nice. Like, the models, I think, are where you see the most difference. Like they showed there's like, some Thane model stuff in there, a few other things, and it's like, yeah, you can see a difference. I mean, I don't know that I needed to see every scale on his body, but I'm not going to say no.
I do. We played with a lot of mods when we played it, and it looked pretty good when we played it.
It did look pretty good.
Yeah, so coming from the base stuff, I could see it. Well, yeah, look at these flares.
There's so much fucking lens flare, dude. It's wild.
But there was already
J.J. Abrams movie.
So this was the original, hey, J.J. Abrams lens flare joke, and now it is it's the apprentice has become the master. Look at this.
Yeah, the first one is almost like, is this image glitched? Like,
yeah.
Turn it down. Maybe they'll have a slider.
But yeah, like one of the main takeaways here really is just that, like, obviously it looks nicer. It doesn't have multiplayer. They said that out of the gate, it would not have the multiplayer stuff in it. And they've obviously made some changes to Mass Effect 1 to kind of try and make it, a little more balanced. They've made a lot of fixes. Apparently no cut content is being re-added. So like, I know there's some mods out there that went and like data mined a bunch of stuff, added like conversations that were cut from the script and things like that, but none of that is in there. And there is actually one piece of DLC that apparently did not make it over.
Yeah, I saw that, the Pinnacle Station stuff, which isn't my favorite, but
yeah, it's definitely not the most vital piece of DLC by any stretch, but it's the thing that's interesting is the reason that it's not in there, which is that the source code apparently for it is just completely corrupted. So that DLC was made by Demiurge, not in-house at BioWare, and when they went to them to look at it, the source code was just not usable, so they would have had to rebuild the whole thing.
That's wild. I wonder if their backups. I wonder what that okay. First, I'm going to take them on their word and say the source code is corrupted, and not assume that they just can't find it, or it's like, oh man, this jazz disc with it. I mean, this wasn't made with jazz. I'm sure. Well, what would we be archiving to? I assume a hard drive at that point. I don't know. If you're a developer, do people go to data tape? Do they go to linear tape or anything like that for long-term storage?
They might have back in the day. I can't think of any developers I know of. Like, granted, I've only worked at like 2 studios ever, and I was certainly not involved in data backing up, but like, I don't think either of those studios did anything that wasn't hard drive based.
And like, I assume now they put it up into a cloud storage or offsite somewhere
as a backup.
Yeah, that has like, replication backup. Anyway, that's a bummer. It's a bummer to know that anything from one of the greatest series of all times will not be included in it. Maybe someday they'll be able to fix it. Corrupted code. What does that mean? Like they double click the executable and it's like this won't run. Like what? Like they try to merge it in.
It could just literally have been on a bad hard drive, and just what they had was just not recoverable. You know? Yeah, it happens.
It's almost unbelievable. Yeah.
But it's like Demiurge does so many contract projects. Like they are a mercenary developer, and they have so much stuff that I'm sure they've cataloged over the years that, at some point something just kind of fell behind the cracks and no one checked on that code for like 10 years. And they're like, oh, fuck.
Who's got that thing? Is it, I have a hard drive here. This says,
it's this says scrambling on a desk.
This one says, ME1 PE. Nope. That's my MEPA. Nope. What does this one say? Final. Nope. This one says final 12-1. Nope. That's not it. Yeah. I don't know. That's backing up stuff. It's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Whole positions should be dedicated to, and they are, to archiving and making sure your data is good.
Yeah.
Because this happened with another BioWare property, the Icewind Dale. Remember, there's this Icewind Dale problem where nobody has the I think it's 1 or 2. I can't remember which one has issues.
The Icewind Dale problem sounds like an escalation in Hitman.
Yeah. What else, Alex?
Well, there's another EA story. Same day as those Mass Effect previews hit, there was an announcement from the EA Sports division. Mm-hmm. They are coming back to college football, y'all.
I didn't know they went away.
Since 2014.
Wow, where have I been?
Alex, you tweeted something about this. You said you made a very interesting point about
there's first time for everything. What do you got?
The nomenclature regarding what this college game is called.
Yes.
And how suspicious it could be.
So there's a couple of things here. One is that this game is not coming out this year. They are saying within the next couple of years it will be out. So that to me reads like we are planning for 2022.
Okay.
Fair enough. Whatever. Considering their history with NBA and other franchises that are not on a constant treadmill, I get it. But also no NCAA branding on the announcement whatsoever. It is EA Sports college football is coming back. Now, I don't have a problem with this because whatever, fuck the NCAA. But my understanding is that what they are doing is they are going through this, I think it's called the CLC, the college, it's something along those lines, but it's a licensing corporation that has the ability to license out, I think something like 100 of the biggest schools in the college sports arena. And that is how they are getting it doesn't have everything, obviously, but it has a lot of them. And I imagine it has most of the big schools people would want.
What I don't understand is like, how does that work? How can you license out the schools?
Is it players as well, or is it just the...
No, so we'll get to that in a second, because that's a whole other ball wax.
That's the big thing. Look, like, I'm with you, right? Like, fuck the NCAA, but like, also, how can they make a college football game and like not have that? I don't understand maybe the relationship.
The NCAA is a governing body. It is not in itself a sports organization. It is a governing body of college sports. And so in theory, if you are getting the licenses through the schools, which I believe is what this corporate, again, this is a rough understanding of what's going on here. I am not an expert in collegiate sports licensing.
Oh, it's a disaster.
That's my future career. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into collegiate sports licensing.
I have to state for the record, it has been almost a year since I have sat underneath a TV that had ESPN on it or any sports thing. So my tangential osmosis of headlines that would happen on sports is just gone now. I just have I have nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, so whatever they're doing, they are going to get school licenses from whatever this relationship is, kind of negating the need to involve the NCAA as far as I can tell. That doesn't mean they're not involved at all, but they don't need the branding. And I don't think it matters. The bigger issue here, and the thing that is sort of unclear at the moment, is what they are going to do about player likenesses and what they are going to do about paying players if such a thing comes to pass.
Okay.
So right now, there is litigation going on. There are things happening. There's a let's say a likelihood that in a year or two, it will be okay for college players to accept endorsements, to find ways to trade on their name while they are still involved in collegiate sports. That has obviously been the big sticking point for a long time, and it seems like it may come to that. In the announcement that was given, and in the interview, little bits of interviews I've seen here and there where PR has given comment, they are currently saying there are no plans to include player likenesses. But given that they are waiting until 2022, it kind of feels like they're just hedging and waiting to see what comes of it.
Right.
Because if they're doing a new sports franchise, there's no way they're not going to try and jam Ultimate Team in there some way. And if you're going to do Ultimate Team, you have to have player likenesses.
Right.
It doesn't work if you don't have that. So I have to imagine what they are expecting is that down the road, there will be an avenue for them to reach out to individual players to sign them. Maybe there will be, if not a players union, which probably is what actually should be there, but if not that, there will probably be some sort of organization they can go to that will go out and do the getting the endorsement, contract signed with individual players for them. But that can't happen yet. I think it just that whatever's going through right now has to.
So they're
finish.
just not there yet. They're not
there yet. But that seems to be where the wind is blowing.
I mean, you can't just, if this is a 2022 game, then like you can't just, that's all that work has to be done. So I wonder if can you even work on that, on somebody's likeness without their permission behind closed doors? If you're
I don't think there's any rule against it as long as those assets don't make it into the wild if you don't sign the contract.
It's all spec. Up until it gets
okay.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go with that. I'm a lawyer.
It's my it's my
there's a story
fiction.
we'll get to in a minute that actually talks a little bit about the kind of work you can do behind the scenes when you don't have a licensed contract signed.
Okay.
But we're not there yet. But anyway, the thing is they could do all that work, start rendering player likenesses. I'm sure they're doing this. Like, they're probably doing this because they want to be able to show that work to players and say, like, hey, look, this is what you'll look like in the game. It's part of their pitch document, I would have to imagine.
So what happens in the and part of my ignorance, what happens in the NFL with the Players Association?
Players Union.
So
Players Union.
And you join the union, and then like EA is licensing from the Players Union, and anybody who has a clause or a contract has to go. It's like the Michael Jordan thing, right? Or like you can. Okay.
There were players that had exceptions in the past that had to be negotiated with separately. That is also an issue, I think, with coaches.
Okay.
Like, there are at least 2 or 3 NFL coaches that never appear in the video games because they just don't want to.
Okay.
So they have right of refusal on that stuff.
Okay. So that's why sometimes you just get a number or something if they're like, we're not paying for this particular player. Okay.
Yeah.
Wild, man. The intersection of video games and the real world at it again.
How about it?
How about it?
I'm happy for college football fans. It's been a long time coming. I'm sure they're excited about this. I will just say, maybe show some caution. The current state of Madden, maybe not the greatest place. More football on their calendar. I don't know that that's really going to help anything, but I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that game turns out all right.
How are we in 2021? We don't have like some like real legitimized robot sport here yet. I mean, you got battle bots and stuff, but I'm talking like
I mean,
they just like Boston Dynamics just got a robot that can run normal.
Yeah,
like,
did they?
Still, yeah, you've seen the jumpy robots and the fucking the ones that run around.
Creep me the hell out, like the dogs.
Yeah, they're creepy
stuff.
as shit, but they work is the thing, and they're nightmares.
Stick a football in that. Stick a football in that robot, and we got a game going here.
When those hydraulic systems become more affordable, then we'll talk about combat sports with them. But I don't think we're there yet.
Why do you want that? You don't want that. I mean,
do I not? I like watching BattleBots. That's fun.
No, I want the sixth day future where the fucking star quarterback in the XFL dies and then they just clone him and there's a new one. They don't tell anyone.
That's creepy. That's
different.
I'm saying let's go all the way to the dark future. Arnold Schwarzenegger's there. He's a helicopter pilot. It's fucking great.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in the dark future. Alex.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. What else we got?
We got a couple other things here that are a little less hectic. This is not actually news, but I mean, it was kind of known, but it's just kind of wild to see. Speaking on the sports front, MLB The Show 21. It is coming very soon, and it will be coming to PlayStation and Xbox day and date. They announced that that game would be going multi-platform, I think last year.
Yeah, it was almost long enough ago where I forgot.
Yeah, but so that game, there is an Xbox game that says PlayStation Studios on it, and that is weird, but also indicative of the times in which we live, where the console war is really more of an imagined thing than it is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a story we'll tell our children.
Yeah.
Halo on PS5. Here we go. Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy for it. Those games are great. People like, as far as like sports simulations go, they're probably the best like major publisher ones out there right now. And I'm glad that more people get to play those games. That's good.
Is this I'm looking at the story now. Is it this is the first time it's been off? Has it been on Nintendo stuff before, or is this the first time it's been?
I don't think it has.
Okay. No, it's not the show's never been anywhere else.
It
right?
hasn't.
Yeah, the show has never been anywhere.
That's my question.
But baseball games have been.
Yes. Yeah, MLB licensed stuff.
MVP. Remember MVP?
But it was like
MVP baseball.
Was it 07 or 08 when 2K really kind of shit the bed on the MLB license, and then it kind of became the thing where
that seems about right.
Sony
like that
was the only one really doing a major MLB game.
Might have been a little before that, but yeah. It's funny. I like out of the sports games that I have played, in my past, hockey is probably my favorite because I feel like hockey, I can pick the controller up and just have some fun, right?
Yep. Because it's how's it feel being right? Feels good.
I'm used to it. It's pretty good.
You get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it. Hockey, pretty. Let's just say hockey's very simple. Pass the puck, shoot the puck, right? That's it. Once in a while,
an idiot could play it.
Yeah, an idiot could play it. So you get it. He gets it right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Morons. We got it.
Don't fall through the ice.
That.
There's like three things: pass the puck, shoot the puck, don't fall through the ice. And then somehow baseball is there, and even though it's like there's something just relaxing about, or maybe in my mind it is relaxing about. You got nothing better to do than sit down on a couch with somebody and play 9 innings of baseball, and that's it. Or,
if you got 4 hours laying around, why not?
I think that's what's appealing. Or maybe I just have really fond memory of like baseball stars, and that's what's happening.
I was about to chime in with baseball stars, so maybe that's what it is.
I think maybe something like a super mega baseball might be more your speed, Vinny, because like the show is really good, but there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of moving parts happening in that game. It might be more your speed to just a game where you can hit the ball and it sometimes goes into the pitcher's nuts.
Before baseball stars, no one had the balls to play music throughout the whole game. No one was like, what do we do? We're going to play music the entire time?
Top of the inning, that's it.
What is this? And that's why baseball stars is where it is.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I like that.
In the baseball video game Hall of Fame that I curate.
What else is
in your basement?
My basement.
Oh, okay.
And my water heater. No, that's cool as hell. I think that's great because it's so funny. Like I have to text about a half a dozen people because I maybe told them there was no way on earth they were ever going to play the show on Xbox.
Nobody remembers.
And you owe some people some money.
I don't owe them money. I just owe them an explanation.
What is the explanation? The explanation is money. Yeah, money one.
Well, yeah. Look, like that's the thing in video games. Like, never say never. Nothing's impossible.
Sonic and Mario are in the same game. Look at that.
Living together,
doing the Olympics.
Hey, actually, now that you mention that, did you notice that we didn't have the Olympics last year and no one cared?
I mean, look. Okay, listen. Yes, I didn't fucking.
No one cared.
I didn't fucking miss it, but I do. When hockey is a big deal in the Olympics, and I care about
the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I realized we missed the Summer Olympics. I'm aware of that, and I think they were supposed to bring skateboarding to it, which would have been cool.
Yeah, but like skateboarding's just fine without the Olympics. It's doing all right.
Isn't breakdancing making it into it too?
No, Vinny, you shut the fuck up.
No, I think that might actually be true.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it might actually be true.
That was true.
See, that's how you get me to watch that shit. If you told me, hey, we're gonna bring breakdancing to the Olympics, well, yes, I'm gonna watch your Olympics now.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea, and I assume that's the same reason they did skateboarding. Yeah, I did not necessarily notice its absence, if you will.
Yeah.
But like, all right. Yeah.
We have to do it.
No, we don't.
Well, but
there's
but,
no
I,
law.
but think about think of the athletes who are training their whole life, the dedication, and then they're like, this year it's canceled. Like, that's so sad.
Look, I want a
lot
Wheaties box as much as the next guy, but like it honestly, like, you can still do your sports outside of the Olympics. They don't. I understand they don't get as much TV coverage, but like,
there is a lot of shitty byproducts of the Olympics too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like the towns that host them become like decrepit, like insane hellscapes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
there is an economic devastation factor.
The athletes, like some of these athletes get they fall off the face of the earth and they like are somehow neglected, and
That's
of them
a very
do
dark, cynical side.
some of them do very fucked up things.
Okay, but
Like,
there's
in the beginning
a
of
triumph
January,
of human spirit. And,
Are you talking about that swimmer that was at the Capitol?
Yeah.
Okay.
That whole story, I watched a video on that whole story, and like the whole time I was just like my face sunk lower and lower and lower on it. I was like, and then what? Anyway, yeah, I mean, it I don't know, like, do the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to the Olympics discussion? I don't know. But it would feel weird if it wasn't there. I understand. Like, people in the chat are like,
but it
like
wasn't. It didn't.
I know.
It didn't feel weird.
But it's gonna come back. They're
Listen,
gonna do it.
I had a lot on my mind.
I know.
As somebody who kind of swims around the periphery of the Olympics when it happens, I'm like, okay, I'm never that big into the Olympics. People used to have like Olympic parties and do their whole thing and watch the diving.
I know. We're not exactly in a situation.
Yeah, people used to have fondue parties too.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's bring that shit back.
Yeah, I do fondue every year. That's my New Year's thing. Fondue, because I will eat cheese no matter what you do to it. If you want to just melt it and put it in a pot and just let me scoop it out with my hand, I'll do it. That's what you do with fondue.
Absence makes the heart grow fondue.
Oh, that's son of a bitch.
I knitted that for you, and you never. I crocheted onto. I did my needlework, and I never see it up, Alex. You don't hang that up.
I've got it hanging above my bed.
Okay, good.
Think you need to spend a little time in podcast jail after that one, Alex.
No, that's fair. That's totally
penalty
fair.
box. That's a 5-minute major.
Look, like, I don't know. Maybe there is some nostalgia adjacent factor that I have with. I think it's mostly the Winter Olympics, but like I will watch some of that shit. I think it's amazing that like you have like literally the best people on earth doing a thing, and the one person who's like 8,000ths of a second slower than the first guy is like, bum. You're a fucking bum. Yeah. I love
garbage.
That. I think that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Right.
But the hockey's the big deal.
The second fastest human in the world. Who?
Sorry. Who are you?
Who? What?
You got like Usain Bolt and then some schmuck. And then some slow ass schmuck behind him.
I'm the second fastest human in the world. Oh,
glad you showed up.
I guess, do you want to come sell mufflers? You don't want to be on the
side. Like you got a degree, right? Like you went to college. I hope you fucking went to college.
Terrible. All right. Speaking of things that are never coming out, Alex, what's this next story here?
So this one's just kind of fun and weird. But so if you have been, let's just say, checking the corners of the internet where video games fall off the back of a truck over the last week, you may have noticed something show up. The Xbox Live remake of GoldenEye, which never came out, a ROM of that is pretty, by all accounts, pretty close to done, has been circulating. And so people have been playing it, and it's pretty cool. It's like pretty good.
Yeah.
Now we need a remaster of this remaster that never came out. So make that happen. There's like fan projects of this though, aren't there? Like
there are versions, they're fan versions, but this was done in-house, from what I understand, at Rare and with Microsoft. The issue, like again, a lot of the work on this thing appears to have been done. But the issue was they could never get the licensors to all agree to terms Microsoft, Nintendo,
Sure.
the Bond people.
Right.
There's a whole host of people that have to sign off on that thing. And it just never happened.
I watched a streamer play it, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, between the breaks where the streamer was stuffing cheesy gordita crunches into his face,
Sorry
like
about
some
that.
sort of toddler.
Sorry.
Are you watching Dan?
What? Oh, that might have been it.
Okay.
And then, it looked really cool. There were like weird mods where like big head enemies and stuff like that.
Well, that's
And
in the
there's a
original.
button-
Game have that? I thought the original
Yeah.
game had that.
Did
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I think there was a big head mode for like
Shows you
multiplayer
what
and
I
stuff.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was the idea. Like some of the code still worked.
Yeah.
But the wildest thing was the
bumper.
the bumper that switches back and forth, right?
Yeah,
From
between the old
from
textures and
64
new ones.
Yeah, which is like, I guess that's a feature that is kind of cool. Like, wouldn't it be great if every remastered game
Halo
could just
did
let
that,
you
didn't
like sync back into shitty mode? You know?
it? Halo has that, right? The Halo remaster stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know.
Was
that.
it completely on the fly though?
Yeah, this is like
Literally a
binded to
button press.
a button.
I can't remember. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
It's a good idea.
The main thing I was struck by was just like how nice it is to see that game run smooth. Because even on an N64, maybe on an emulator, it runs that nicely. But like on an actual N64, the frame rate in that thing
Yeah.
gets chunky,
Tough
especially
business.
anytime anything blows up. Yeah. So, but like watching people just kind of smoothly move through those levels and not having it all fucking fall apart in like chunky messes was. I don't know. It's just like that seems like how that game should actually be played. So it's a shame we'll never get an official release of that, but at least now people can see what they were working on.
Cool.
Yeah. Neat. So that is leaked, huh? Leaked.
Look, I'm not going to tell you where to find it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you whether you
Yeah.
should go look for it or
I
not.
just
I'm
turn
just
the
saying,
faucet on and that just comes out, huh? Just leaked.
if you
Yeah,
happen to
leaking.
click an executable and it happens to
Wait,
fall out of that executable,
Where'd your streamer friend get this game from, Jeff? Where'd your
I
where'd your
don't-
Gordita buddy get this illegal bit of game from, huh?
What are you a fucking cop? I don't
No.
know.
Why you asking? No.
Yeah, I'm asking if you're.
no,
are
he
you a
works for
cop?
the Broccoli family. He's a
you a
license
cop?
holder.
You a cop?
You cop?
You a cop?
You.
I don't know where he got it. That dumb idiot. I don't know.
All right. Well, is that it for the news then?
I believe it is.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Fantastic. We're gonna take another break here. We're gonna come back with some emails. Stick around. Let me get the music cue up here. There we go. Stick around. We'll be right back. Oh, you can't hear that. Stick around. We'll be right back. And we are back for the stunning conclusion of the Giant Beastcast.
Who knows how it will end?
I do with emails. If you've got an email, you can send it into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. I've gone through these emails. I've read these emails. I've forwarded the appropriate emails to the folks who needed them forwarded. I've sent funny ones. I've sent sad ones. I've sent touching ones. And I picked some to be read here. Not all could be read. But I picked some. Like this one. Alex, why don't you read this one coming in from Emily?
Sure thing. Emily says, I recently caught up on all the free podcasts, so I decided to go back and start listening to the hotspot from when it restarted last year. After a few episodes, a question. Are you guys going through a midlife crisis?
Oh,
How are you-
shit.
How are you dealing with it? My father bought a motorcycle for his midlife crisis. I asked the Beastcast crew because Vinny seems like an expert. God
Oh,
damn.
shit.
God damn, Emily.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Vinny,
Yeah.
if I could just, I know the question is for you, but
Well, it's for all of us, but
well, I'm not part of the, what is this show called? The Hotspot? Yeah, that's not my show.
but I think
I'm not-
you
Yeah,
can
I'm
certainly
fine. I'm
answer.
fine over here. Hey, I'm fine. By what? What? Does
Is that
anybody?
your third arm?
Everybody needs a framing nailer. Why? Like, what? Why wouldn't you buy these tools? This is fine.
The age for midlife crisis, isn't that older like
it could be anywhere. I think anywhere from like 35 to 50 can be a midlife crisis, depending on how you choose to approach it.
I don't know. I've been having problems with just like, mortality and age in general.
Yeah, that will happen.
I don't want to talk about it.
So like, why are we picking this scab? But anyway,
midlife does not actually have to mean midlife. It just means you have hit a stage of adulthood where you are desperately pining for things that maybe you either wanted to achieve as a youth or have as a youth, or things you did as a youth and just want to recapture that.
Yeah, like a shelf full of little like when you had Transformers and you're like, oh man, I wish I could get these Transformers.
Who would do that?
People who are having a crisis, Alex. I don't know. They collect the things that they couldn't get when they were a kid, and now they're an adult, and they want to hang on to whatever scraps of nostalgia they can from their childhood. Because
it's like if you had, I don't know, I have a dozen pinball machines in your house, and you're just trying to.
I mean, look, I am a man who is pushing 40, and in the last 2 years, I joined a hardcore band and bought a skateboard. So you do the math.
Yeah. No.
You decide where I'm at.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. The answer is how many have I? This maybe my fourth at this point.
Here's see, and this is where I will contest. I believe that your midlife crisis, if you ever have one, is when you're doing the thing well outside of the sort of reasonable time frame,
like 7 pinball machines in a year.
Skateboarding when you're 39 and have not skateboarded in 15. I haven't skateboarded in 15, 20 years.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that part. But Tony Hawk is like goddamn 55 years old.
Yeah,
like,
it's not the same thing when that's your profession.
No,
it's not the same thing when it's your profession.
If you buy a Ferrari because you're a race car driver who drives for Ferrari, like you could drive a Ferrari.
That is way different than a guy who buys a Ferrari who owns a fucking hookah bar in Queens. That's different.
And God bless you. You're a very successful hookah bar, but yes.
Let me pour
Get
cold
a Fiero,
water on this
maybe.
whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy.
As long as it's not murder.
As long as it's not harmful.
As long as it's not murder.
That's right. If it's responsible.
It might make you don't do it. Don't murder. That's all I gotta say. Do it.
That's a really normal thing to say at the end of a discussion about midlife crisis. Don't kill anyone.
Don't kill anyone, but do what makes you happy.
Don't hunt people for sport just because you're pining for the days of your youth.
That's right. I'm just very nostalgic. Yeah.
I am. I fully admit that I totally am.
I try to crisis responsibly.
Yeah. I'm trying to channel it into things that are at least a little bit productive to me and also not prohibitively cost intensive.
Do what you want to do. And also the very idea of the midlife crisis, which I think is like a trope that maybe played a little better 30 years ago.
Oh, I think it's still true.
You just don't want to talk about being halfway done.
I just want to tell you that I'm fucking 38 years old.
You still want to, yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I just think age is a much more fluid sort of thing now.
Yeah, baby, you're young. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Don't talk to me.
No, you're good. You're good. You're playing hockey. You're out there. You're moving around.
Yeah,
but he's been playing hockey. I don't count that because he's been playing.
Dude, that would be the fucking worst diss ever. Like, if I get up to the face-off circle, this fucking little shit across the ice from me is like, what are you? Entering your midlife crisis.
That's right. Look at all this new gear. The tags are still on your pads.
Well, Steve Yzerman played hockey well into his 40s. Thank you very much. So actually,
Kelly Hrudi.
Wow, Jeff got a 5-minute major before the face-off.
I know, for punching a 12-year-old. Weird. So yeah, I don't know. It's listen, I'm not into cars. I'm not into clothes. I'm into tools. I like tools. I like building stuff. I like little transformers. So yeah, I don't know. That's it. I put money away for my kids' college. I try to do it responsibly.
That's a midlife crisis moment. Right
no, I'm saying I try to cover the bases here, and then
who cares? It's not going to be college. It's not going to be college by the time they're of age. Anyway, it's going to be.
There's no college.
Robo college.
They're going to be just kind of farming sun, heat from the earth. All right, next question here, or next email here. I justify it to myself. That's why I have these. I take these emails so we could talk. I could talk it out, right? So I could talk it out with you guys, and then make myself feel
I don't
better.
want to do free therapy for you.
Yeah, so. that's right. I make the audience and you guys do it. Thank you. Men
will do literally anything. They will start podcasts rather than go to therapy.
Backlog, why don't you take this one coming in from Aaron here?
What IP, doesn't have to be video game related, do you want to see given the Cobra Kai or New Mighty Ducks treatment, in that the good guys are now treated as the bad guys, or the bad guys are now in a redemption arc that makes them less like the bad guys? I didn't know that Cobra Kai was that. Stacy started watching it and I was just like, oh, that's an interesting sort of thing. That just as an aside, like that show is corny as fuck.
Oh yeah,
do you like it?
But so is the Karate Kid.
I know. I just didn't. Like everyone was raging about Cobra Kai, and I'm like, oh wow, it must be really good and serious and important. And it's just like, no, it's fucking cornball.
No, it's not serious or important, but it is fun. Like what little of it I've seen seems fun.
So they've done this with almost everything, right? They've done it with. So I was trying to think in my head as I was reading this, like they kind of did it with Predator. Where they're kind of like, oh, they're just out there hunting, man. They're just doing it, and the aliens are the real bad guys. And I was thinking, okay,
there's no real redemption arc for the Predators. It's more like
they're doing they got their rites of passage, and you got to get out there. You got big game hunting, they're just
I don't think that's really the same thing.
And we got to combine together because you got to stop the alien. So what if the alien is there one? Prometheus did not make the alien sympathetic, right? There's no redemption.
No, God, no.
Okay, so the aliens are still bad, right? In Aliens.
Well, they're not so much bad as they are the product of a biological weapon.
See, they did make a redemption arc,
but they're not good.
It's not their fault. They're just drawn that way. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard. We've been around, like Terminator got one. This is so cliche to a point it was hard for me to think of a franchise that hasn't at some point spun it around where it's like, okay, we got a third villain and they're real bad. They're the bad ones.
It's just like a DuckTales where you now sympathize with Scrooge McDuck, where like his kids are trying to take him for everything he's worth.
I mean, I always sympathize.
I mean,
with
Scrooge was supposed to be sympathetic, even if, in reality.
No, I always thought that he was the bad guy.
No, it was the other guy. It was the other Scottish billionaire.
Glumgold.
Yeah, Glumgold.
But you could tell like Scrooge McDuck was a little too.
He's like a rapscallion. Like he's like
he's a tightwad, and also he's a billionaire. So inherently, he's not.
But you were like, this prick swims in his money. He's not a good person.
Well, no, but that's the thing is that like when DuckTales was produced, like, yes, he was very rich, over the top rich, but like you were still supposed to sympathize with him because in the 80s, everyone thought being rich was cool.
Yeah, the Beagle Boys want to steal that money.
Yeah.
I thought it was his nephews versus Scrooge McDuck.
The nephews are just the ones that guide him toward being a more sympathetic character. You're not supposed to hate Scrooge. You're supposed to look at him and be like, oh, he just needs to learn a lesson.
That's right. As he wound up too tight. That's it.
Oh, all right. That changes everything.
Yeah. But if you want to make him like the actual villain, I think that could be a more interesting. I mean, I understand the most recent DuckTales stuff is actually pretty good, so I don't necessarily want to fuck up anyone's good time there. But nonetheless, I think if you did a thing where Scrooge McDuck had the actual heel turn of like, oh wait, no, I'm actually a billionaire. My existence is morally reprehensible.
That's right.
That's they could do something with that, but they won't because it's Disney. Why would they?
I do like funny ones where it couldn't work. Like what's one where like trying to do that is just hilarious.
I don't know. Like Despicable Me, the whole concept is that, right? The bad guy is the good guy. I mean, this whole thing has been done. I think the challenge is coming up where it hasn't.
Or like Jack.
Like they've even done Batman stuff where like some of the Batman villains have teamed up with Batman to take on bigger bads, like that shit. Like it is a cliche. You're totally right. I think the answer to this is the Ape Escape franchise. The apes are the heroes. The monkeys are the heroes. They go around, they're trapping the humans.
Okay. I like that. They're the heroes trapping the humans.
You're telling me
they're getting their revenge.
You tell me, I just saw someone in the chat. You're telling me you could sympathize with Shredder? You could be like, yo, Shredder's
Have you seen Krang? You seen the way Krang treats Shredder?
Shredder's misunderstood.
But you know what? I could totally I could totally see myself sympathizing with Bebop and Rocksteady.
Aw.
Those guys,
Well,
they
guys
just
didn't
they
seem to
fell
have a
in with the
choice.
wrong crowd.
Yeah, and they didn't have a choice to be mutated, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's right.
I could say I'll go as far as sympathizing with Krang,
You could.
I think
but not
you could
Shredder.
Not
Shredder's
Shred-
just pure evil.
I think you could do a real like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead thing with Bebop and Rocksteady. I think there's a story to be told there.
It's a challenge. Challenge breaking out of the mold. Speaking of challenges, I'm going to read this one here coming in from Alex. Alex says, if you took a game controller and swung it in a circle like a thug with a chain in old action movies,
Got it.
What game controller would do the most damage?
Oh,
And
this
in
is
turn, if you had to be hit by one, which would you prefer?
the Duke would do the most damage, like Alex said.
Yeah, and the 6-axis is the one you want to get hit with because that's it's like someone spritzing water on you.
Because that was the one that came without the vibration in the beginning.
Yeah, the
yeah,
original
yeah.
PS3
Yeah.
6-axis.
Hollow, just air inside of it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a fluffy marshmallow.
I think the Duke is definitely that's a you can get some momentum behind that one. But
I'll tell you what, the Elite controller,
yeah, that's weighty.
That's got some heft.
That's
this
weighty.
one's heavy duty.
That's-
You could
yeah.
fuck shit up with this.
Yeah. I would think like a cat of nine tails with like Wiimotes, right? That just like 9 of them just like on that thing like a whoosh, right?
Like nunchucks or something.
like they're spinning them around like they just got Wiimotes on that thing and you can really hurt somebody, I think there.
Actually, you know what? No, the Wii U tablets. Just like
I
a
guess
cat of nine tails with the tablets on there. That would do some damage.
That would be tough, I think.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, like wasn't the Dreamcast controller like really had a lot
That
of like
thing is
sharp
bulky.
edges?
Yeah.
Well,
It
That's
has
got, like,
edges.
sharp
It's actually
edges.
not as bulky, but if you
Yeah.
put the EM like the memory unit in there, that adds some weight.
It's kind of like a batarang in a lot of ways, so maybe
Yeah.
that could do it.
Or like what's the running pad for the Nintendo? Just like throw that thing.
Is
like
that going to
net.
count? Is that going to count?
I think we'll count all control. The NES, the Max. What's the big one? What's the arcade
Yeah.
stick? Or was it the Advantage? Was that the big one?
Yeah.
You could do. You
NES
hurt.
Advantage.
Yeah. Rob, the robot.
All right,
Just on the
now
end of
now let's just throw a cabinet at somebody. I mean,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
You got some fucking steering wheels you want to attach to a thing?
those gyromite discs. just take those out. Those will work. All right. Let's see. Backler, why don't you take this one? So I'm gonna say we got a bunch of these sometimes. I think some people like them, maybe some people don't, but I enjoy them. Backler, why don't you take this one from Matt?
Wow, when we talk about kids stuff?
Yeah, when we talk about home improvement and kid stuff.
Oh, all right. I like it. You've talked often about games for young children, and it has been helpful. Side note, both Pixar Rush and Disneyland Adventures on Xbox Game Pass kept my kids occupied. They're not very good games, but at least they're easy enough for my 5-year-old to understand without me having to guide them. And end of the parentheses. But I was wondering, how do you limit the amount of video game time your kids get? We have a crazy system of them doing chores to earn Monopoly money that they can then use to buy video game time. Curious how Jeff and Vinny handle this.
I'll
Yeah.
just sit this one out then.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, because I think I'm curious to hear what you think. Like, you're not totally detached from humanity. You have.
I mean, I have a system in place to deal with this, which is to never have children.
Okay.
Well, and
it's worked
that's-
great so
and
far.
that's how you.
What was your
Yeah.
screen time restricted when you were a kid?
No, and it should have been. I mean, so it was in the sense that when I was a little kid, not really. My parents didn't really have much of a notion about that stuff. And, video games were just starting to become popular when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And they didn't really know what to make of it. They were just like, oh, it's engaging. It's keeping them busy. That's fine. And I got a little older and I basically turned into a latchkey kid because my parents were working and I would come home and there was nothing to be like, okay, you're not allowed to turn on the TV until you've done your homework. And they had no way of enforcing that in any way, shape, or form. So I absolutely never adhered to those rules.
Nice.
I definitely wasn't sneaking down late at night to watch HBO movies that I should not have been watching when I was a kid. Yeah, no, I abused that system every possible chance I got.
Lawlessness.
Mm-hmm.
Backler, how is? I know this is a big thing with everybody in quarantine and kids home and screen time.
That's the thing. Like, if there's no pandemic, our day to day is black and white, different, right? Because then it would have gone from him coming home from school and being with someone and like, so honestly, all I can talk about right now is the current situation that we're in for me personally. And yeah, like he definitely plays a lot. And there's only so much that we can do during the day. I will sort of like bookend that with saying, he is very well behaved and very good, and I do like to reward him with that. He can get it taken away from him, and then he's just sort of like on his own. He's got to like, play with non-screen toys or keep himself occupied.
Baby's toy.
But yeah, like it is very tough. During this time, it is very tough. We do have reward systems in place where like he fills this jar up with a certain amount of things, and then when he reaches the top, he gets like a big prize.
What kind of behavior gets you a reward?
Just being a good dude. Like, don't give a shit when it's time to go to bed. He went through like a biting nails thing that he got over, and that was a big deal. He earned a lot of rewards for that. Just not being shitty. We obviously don't talk to him like this, but like a lot of it is like, hey man, don't cool. Like do this. Be cool. That's really what it is in my house.
Chill out.
Like,
be cool, John.
You want to have a great time? Just be cool.
Be cool.
Be respectful. Be cool, and treat everyone nice, and you're good.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
But at this moment, he is playing a lot more games than he would have if there was no pandemic.
So we still try to do big screen stuff is on the weekend, and they get the screens. They're on school screens for school all day, and so we do game stuff. And show stuff is mostly relegated to the weekend still. And we don't have any reward system. One point I was going to do that, and I was talking to a friend. I was going to do timers. I was going to build an electronic timer for it. Like, hey, you get this much time. And and he made a very good point. I think Casey said this. He said a very good point of like, oh my God, watching that timer tick down would be the most stressful fucking thing in the world. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. That's probably not good. And I could tell my son would definitely be like, how much time is left? Can I do this? How much time? I was like, okay, we're not going to do that. So we're on the kind of honor system of if it's a problem, we're gonna not do it. And he definitely has like, I call it, and we say in the house, like, dude, you're having screen withdrawal. You're having like a screen hangover right now. Like, we just turned it off. You're in like a mood. You're like just doing this thing where like you can't think of anything else to do. I get it. Yeah. You're in like hangover right now. We're gonna give it a a bit, and hopefully
that withdrawal is a real thing.
It's for real, man.
A real thing.
Yeah. And like it is, that's tough. And he could be on that thing all day and be like, we got to take a break. Just to experience a little more out of life today. Let's just do a thing. Okay, one minute. Like I get it. I used to have my controllers taken away all the time. My parents would take them. They'd yank the controllers out of the Nintendo. They'd say go outside. They'd stick them in their bedroom. As soon as they went to work, same thing, Alex. I'd come home. My parents were working, so we'd come home. We'd go into their bedroom. We'd grab the controllers. We'd plug them back in. We'd play. 6 o'clock came around when my parents would get home. We'd put the controllers back in their bedroom, and oh man, outside is so bright. So
the whole time you're like, these idiots.
Wow, sprinkle some water in your face. Oh my gosh, sweating from the sun.
I will say for my part, they never took away my video games. And the thing is, I was definitely playing too many video games. I was in front of too many screens as a kid. But I think they never felt compelled to do that because I did play outside a lot. I did go outside. I did hang out with my friends. I did stuff outside of the house that was not just staring at a screen. And obviously it was a different environment because there weren't cell phones and tablets and other things making it like I had the family PC and I was playing, games on there and I was on the internet and stuff. But I had not completely retreated into the shut-in status that I've achieved in adulthood. So, they never had that compelling reason to be like, take away his video game time because he's not, he's just hanging out inside all the time. But yeah, I think that's a totally fair thing. Like if a kid is just completely sidestepping the possibility of doing other things, that is maybe a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, to me, it's a balance. It's a balancing act between like, hey, I get it. Video games are fucking awesome. They're so fun. They're great.
Some of them.
But there is also a part where you're not going to have this time ever again. You should at least try some other stuff. And we gotta get you out there. We gotta see if there's anything else maybe you like. as much. And if the answer is no, then hey, let's go play some Smash Brothers. But like, we got to try some. How about this whole bicycle thing? I hear it's fun. Let's go. Let's go.
I hear it goes fast. I hear wind in your face is fun.
I hear it's a lot of fun. Let's get out there and let's see how the running around is.
Hey, why? Like, I had been dreading this winter, right? Just because it's like, can't really go outside. What are you going to do? This snowstorm was in a way, it was a very big deal. It was a very good thing. Like one night on Tuesday night, we were outside till 10:30 at night.
Whoa.
We were sledding down the goddamn driveway. That's
a long time.
Yeah. We went, this was like the third time we went out during the day, but like we were doing it. It was great. I have never been outside so much. I mean, this storm was the biggest storm that I can remember, right? Like this was a huge storm in a really long time.
It's not I don't know if it's the biggest snowstorm since I've lived here, but it was way up there. Like it has not been like a sustained more than one day snowstorm, I think, at least in the last 6 or 7 years. Like
definitely in Dylan's lifetime. I mean, maybe Max's too. Like
trying to think. It was like 2 feet of snow is a lot. There's a lot.
2 feet of snow, man.
It's a lot. All right. We got a couple more emails here. Tough. It's tough though. The screen stuff is for real. I think the screen addiction stuff, I think, especially on younger kids, like they make it to be addicting. That is, I get it. We all get it. We like video games here. How do you balance that stuff? The thing I try not to do as a parent, the thing that I kind of remember from growing up, is I don't tell my kids they have to get outside and help with the housework. Like I remember, like, what are you doing? Get outside and help your dad build the deck. I didn't ask to build a deck. I want to play. I'm playing Rygar down here. You guys want a deck? Go build your own deck. Get out there and help your dad change the oil. It's not my car. Why do I got you? Yeah, I try not to do that. This one comes in. I took this one because it's from somebody named Rory, and also they're coming in from Guam. So, Alex, why don't you take this one? From Rory here.
Sure thing. Rory asks, okay, I'm trying to read this. Okay. Yeah. Rory from Guam here.
Yeah.
Theme song, King of the Hill.
This is theme song, Kill It. You just got to pick one.
Playing a game. Okay. Okay, here we go. Original Pokemon song versus original Power Rangers song.
It's Pokemon song, right?
I don't agree. I think it's the Power Rangers song.
I think it's Pokemon song.
I think it's Power Rangers.
Bacalar?
I guess I'm the tiebreaker, but I don't really know the original Pokemon song.
Got to be the very best, like no one there before. Da-da-da is my
but let me hum you a little tune.
Pokemon,
here. Go Power Rangers! Yeah. Shit, sick fucking guitar solo.
Yes, so that's why my answer is Power Rangers.
Okay, well you're wrong. Did we? Thank you, Rory. Did we? I asked you, Bacalar, to see if we could get an official answer for this next one here. Did we ever get anything back?
No, he didn't. He didn't write me back.
Okay, there was a question from Tom about why is HDR calibration just all over the place? Why do some companies have you do the can you see the logo? Can you see it now? Is it too bright? And why do some have you look at like 3 different sunsets and say which one looks the nicest? And so we tried to reach out to get an official answer from what I think is probably one of the best TV people in the business, David Katzmeyer, but no answer yet, huh?
No, I didn't. I thought about it a little bit. I have a guess, but it's just a guess.
Why don't we start with the guess, and if Katzmeyer gets back to you, we can talk about it next week.
Do you have a guess?
The guess is that there are certain collaboration tools that are better for certain kinds of games in terms of like their palettes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a game that it plays primarily dark, you might want to do that one version. If you have a game that plays, you know what I mean? Like that's a thing, I think, because a lot of games have like, stuff in the shadows where like that sort of detail, like a game like The Last of Us is dark, right? Like it's a dark ass game for a lot lot of it.
And you don't think you could get there with the like, hey, do you see the Naughty Dog?
I don't know. That's just like I said, it's my guess.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's okay.
But yeah, that whole HDR is a mess. Like fucking let's just get on the same page with it, man.
That's right.
So frustrating.
It is frustrating. All right, this one here, Alex, why don't you take this one from Tyler? I feel like I have an opinion on this. I feel like you might.
Sure. Hey, Beastcats. The DualShock 4 I use to play PC games is starting to show some significant joystick drift, and it might be time to replace it. This leads me to a couple of questions. One, how long do controllers usually last for you? Mine's lasted about 6 years, which seems pretty good. And question two, is there a controller you recommend for playing on PC these days? My only console is a Switch, so I have a Pro controller I could use, but it seems like support on the PC is iffy. Plus, I feel like an Xbox or PlayStation controller would be more comfortable.
So I think I'm going to jump in here. I'm just going to say I got to go with the Xbox controller for the PC. I think that is a pretty universal. I think if you have the money, maybe you want to get one of the Xbox Elite controllers, but in terms of functionality on a PC, I think that Xbox controller, Xbox One or even Series X, with Bluetooth, I think
even a 360 controller at this point still does.
I think you need
the
dongle maybe for that. But yeah, I think those controllers work pretty well, and that probably even a bigger reason why I would take it, because I do like the DualShock controller, but why I take the Xbox One over it, it's that it works pretty natively with Windows, or fairly natively with Windows.
Windows likes it.
Windows likes it, and most of the games will show button prompts for the Xbox controller on the PC, and that's. But I think. No, I hit a button.
How'd you do that?
Mean to do that?
No.
How'd you do that?
I have.
Okay.
I sent you guys the feed. When I put the controller down, I tapped the button on the thing.
I was gonna say, okay, cool. I'm on drugs now.
I was gonna say they kicked in.
So support for the DualShock 4 got good. Like, I feel like that's pretty plug and play at this point. Does the DualSense work on PC at this point?
The DualSense. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean it's Bluetooth, right? So it should.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's plug and play, or you have to like install some custom drivers to make that shit work.
I wonder. I've just never done it. I haven't tried to do it. Yeah, you can plug it in too. I imagine that would maybe do something.
It'd probably at least charge it.
I use the Xbox controller almost exclusively.
Yeah, same with me.
That's my primary one on the PC side. I think kind of gone, or like I looked once and I was like, man, I think the Xbox One is like the Gravis pads and like the miscellaneous. Used to have like
Logitech shit.
Yeah, like miscellaneous boxes of everything. Because you know what's great, especially if you're in the Microsoft ecosystem already with an Xbox or Series X, you just grab that controller and use it on your PC. I mean, I assume the same with the DualSense if that's it. It's more the mappings sometimes. I feel like the PlayStation controller stuff for games on PC, sometimes the button prompts aren't always there for.
They're in there. Like you can get
some of them.
It's just not as universal.
Not as universal, yeah. Yeah.
But they also ask how long did controllers last. I feel like I've had most of my controllers last the entire generation.
Really?
Yeah, I had one DualShock 4 that broke after about 3 years, but the other two I have, one of them has lasted the entire generation. The other one is still holding up just fine. I haven't had any Xbox controllers break on me. Like even my 360 controllers work just fine. And other than, one bout of Joy-Con drift, by and large, the Switch stuff I've had has worked a-okay. Like the Pro controllers have been fine. So usually they last, I feel like.
I think my Microsoft controllers, one from each generation, has had drift. My Sony controllers, I feel like they've held up better. I think they've held up better. But yeah, I've definitely taken apart and replaced or tried to replace. It never fucking works. It never feels the same. Replacing the analog sticks with like third party analog.
It's in your head, man.
Maybe it's in my head. I don't know. Or maybe it was never the problem.
I had a lot of what's it called? DS4 controllers that the battery just got so shot.
Oh, just unusable.
That was sort of just like done. But I experienced a lot of drift with those controllers too, but I never
on the DualShocks.
I guess that would mean they're done, right? But
yeah. You know what? Nintendo controllers, aside from that Joy-Con issue, I think have held up really well for me. I don't and aside from the cocaine that would get in the middle of that N64 controller, if you on that analog stick, there's always that like white dust.
Oh right, you were in college.
Yeah.
You're in college.
There's always that white dust that's in the middle there, and you never know where that came from.
Cocaine, yeah.
Cocaine. cocaine. This last one here, I'll take. This one comes in from Scott, and we'll wrap it up here. This says, Vinny, what did I buy? So many boxes. Ever forget you bought something, then bang, tons of crap in your house? That come from Scott, and he's talking about the Bloodborne, the board game. Holy crap. I don't know if anybody else went in on that Bloodborne, the board game Kickstarter.
I heard there's a lot of pieces of that thing.
It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing? That's the word?
Yes. Two full boxes full of like expansions. I had to unpack that thing and shuttle it to the basement. It now takes up a shelf that is as big, as tall as my entire board game collection shelf. Like it is probably the first time I've had something that I bought that was like, this was an incredible mistake. This was, I need to get this out of the house immediately. I don't have room for this. I'm never going to play this. And I'm absolutely never going to sleeve all these cards. I will probably sleeve all these cards. But like, there's probably like 8,000 cards in that thing.
8,000?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
A lot. There's a lot.
Like,
We'll say
you're
that.
saying this. Oh, look, that's the kind of game it is, Bloodborne. I mean, you know.
Yeah, a lot of cards.
It's all in there. It's all in there. You're going to die a lot.
Holy cow. It's, so yeah, that is the one for me, Scott, that was like, I messed up, and this is now in my house, and this is I should never do Kickstarters again. Do you guys have anything where? Oh, actually, the second thing that just happened with this framing gun here is like, oh, I got to buy some nails for the framing gun, and apparently, unbeknownst to me, maybe I bought like 2,000 nails. The thing it's like it's a lot of nails.
The question is more like we live in a box world now.
Yeah. And
did you ever like set aside a box and then like open it up later and be like, oh right, I bought all this shit?
I've never done that. Like I'm pretty good about unpacking and then putting stuff away. So I don't have a big enough house to just have the box sitting there. Like it's usually got to go somewhere. But definitely the box when I open it up and it's like, oh, this
was a mistake. My town only recycles or picks up recycling twice a month, which is insane to me. But nevertheless, I don't always, I break down all the cardboard, but sometimes a lot of that stuff just like collects in the front of the house in that area. And then they themselves, the boxes turn into like desks where you're just like, I might as well just put my keys here. I mean, this shit's at waist height. This shit's at waist height. This is now furniture.
Anyway. Yeah. This is like mail goes here. This is yeah.
So we had so the snowstorm skipped 1 week. So I've got like 3 weeks of recycling cardboard in like the front of the house. I can't even access the part where I like throw it on the side of the house. So it's just like a Mad Max cardboard world in the front of the house now. And
especially during like holidays,
leave it there.
I feel like the holidays, the rush with the boxes for any deliveries was like, this needs to go away. This is too much cardboard. My kids were they play with it. It's fun. Yeah, it's too much. Alex, you have any big old regrets that you were like, I bought this thing, it was out of stock maybe, and then suddenly it popped in stock, and then you got a delivery to your house and said, oops?
I'm trying to think. No, I think I'm not saying I've never made stupid purchases before. I certainly have, but I knew I was making a stupid purchase at the time. And I can't think of any examples where I've been surprised by my own stupidity. I'm usually pretty aware that I am making a mistake when I make that mistake.
Okay. In full knowledge.
Yeah.
Somebody just sent me a picture of the game.
Which picture of the game?
Oh, the Bloodborne?
Yeah.
That's Bloodborne? All. It's like a stack. It's a Natalie Watson's photo of it.
Okay.
Is that all the game?
Is it how big? Is it like two gigantic piles?
No. It's like what is this? 10 boxes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What the fuck?
It's the expansions with the Kickstarter. So you get like the expansions that go with the game. Do you want this expansion? Do you want that expansion? And then it was too much. It's too much.
Jesus, do they plant trees?
Why do you want
the money?
What do you want it?
No, I don't fucking want
Do
it.
you want to buy? Do you want to buy?
Oh my god!
Do you want to play some Bloodborne? You want to come? You want to get together to play some Bloodborne?
How is that a game?
We'll play for Bloodborne for the rest of our life.
How is that a game? You need a new room for it. That's insane.
Yeah.
You could just play Bloodborne. You could just play Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
There have definitely been things I've kickstarted now that I think about it that I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about this. But I've also realized that none of the things I've kickstarted have been very big. So at least I didn't have to deal with that.
Jesus.
Do you want it?
No, I said I don't want it.
I'll give you a good price.
You guys want to buy a box in my Super Bowl pool?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one?
Which box?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
It's the score box. The one team scores on this side and the other team scores on this side.
What am I gambling on, Jeff? What am I gambling? What am I doing?
Literal chance.
I know, but like, what do I have to bet on? Like, what is it?
You don't
the
have to
line?
bet
Am
on
I
it.
beating? Am I
is
beating
it an over under? What are we doing?
No,
Yeah.
the box. The box is there's 100 boxes and you pick a box, and then when it's all filled up, numbers get assigned. 0 through 9 get assigned, top and bottom. The Bucks, and who are they playing?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. And at the end of each quarter, the last digit in the score of each team, you connect where those line up, and that person wins money.
Whatever happened to just betting on who wins?
That's too pedestrian.
The box is like a very old thing. The box has been around.
I feel like I
forever.
described it pretty well. You had the score on one side and the score on the other side. Yeah,
you did good.
Yeah, I know how to box the thing. No, I don't want to buy. How much are you charging for a box? What's your
500.
Pool? Stop it! That's not true. Who are you? Go fucking snowblow your yard. Who are you?
So I tell the story every year, but I had a friend who was like a PAT away from winning in $1,000 box and winning $1 million, and like I forget what happened. It was not good. It didn't end well. He was like, people were buying into his box in the fourth quarter because he had such a good chance. Anyway,
you could do that. You could like buy stock in a box.
Like basically, that's what was happening because these people are all degenerates. Anyway, this is the most I've spent on a box pool, just because I'm like, I just don't care about football at all in any way, and like, you know, I'll watch the thing. Like I'll watch your thing, and if I win some money, great. But
there was
most are like $10-$20.
I was listening to something that was like, and we'll wrap this podcast up. We're at the end here. But I was listening to something where they were bemoaning or not complaining, but pontificating on like, oh, it's so like people were watching the Super Bowl alone and like eating the snacks all alone. And I was like, dude, that's the way to do it. That's you get your own. There's a reason to just have a bowl of chips. I don't even watch the Super Bowl. I buy Super Bowl chips and I'll eat the chips, and then text my family and be like, "What a game, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't believe they won.
Can't believe that play.
couldn't believe they won." And then you could usually say like, "I thought they had it in the third. I thought they had it in the third quarter," and be like, "Yeah."
Like 70% of the time, you're right.
Yeah. I thought they had it in the third quarter. Oof. That injury though.
I got bad numbers in my box.
What are your numbers? So people know.
0, and 8.
Who's got the 0?
The 0 is the Chiefs and the 8 is the Bucks, which I guess is good, right? Don't people like Tom Brady scores a lot of the points?
0's a good. I feel like 0's a good number.
They're both high-scoring teams. They're both high-scoring teams.
So when I saw 8, I was like, "Oh, 8 seems bad. 0's good. 8's good. Bad." Yeah. But I was looking at the past 10 years of scores, and there's been tons of 8s in those scores.
Okay,
so
you're on it. There you go.
Teams go for 2 a lot more these days, so you're more likely to get an 8, I think, than you would otherwise.
This pool I'm in, so this is a little more complicated. They award points. You get money every time there's a score change, not just the quarters.
Every time so somebody scores, you get to recheck the boxes.
What this person did is they put aside how much money? They put aside so it's 20 grand is the pot. And they put aside some money for score changes.
How
which
many people?
average
How
out
many? Okay, this might give away too
100
much.
It's
but
100 boxes.
100
100
boxes,
boxes.
and you can buy multiple boxes, or everybody. Bought
You can
one?
buy all of them if you want. It's a bad bet, but you can.
Yeah.
Well, you might make your money back. So like, all right. Should we?
I mean, here's what I'll
so
say is
35% of the pot is saved for score changes. Sorry.
I'll say this much is that like my bet would be that this is going to be one of those games where like 75 total points is scored between the two teams, which almost assuredly means that it will actually be 14-10 by the time the game is over. Whenever I think it's going to be a high scoring thing, it never is. So get ready for me to be wrong.
That's 0. There you go. You got some of it. All right, let's bring it on home. I'm gonna hit the music. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for listening and watching today. I want to say we have oopsie. Thanks everybody for listening again. Happy birthday to my little brother Christopher there. Christopher is over in Australia having a good time out there. Miss that guy. That's a long way to go. That's far away from here.
Not for DHL. They do it overnight somehow.
It's amazing. You can go and watch some stuff on the site. Go check out that Hitman stuff. We're gonna have one of them Relaxed Friday streams coming up tomorrow. If you're premium, you should go check that out. We're gonna have you guys are gonna play some of the medium. I'm gonna get some of that Dyson Sphere going for that quick look and the unfinished. Oh boy, I'm tired. I don't know why I'm so tired. We had the last episode of Going Rogue. That happened, the finale. That went up. You should go check that out again. I want to thank you, Alex Navarro. Thank you, Jeff Bacalar. If you're listening out there, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. No matter where you live or what time zone. This has been the Giant Beastcast. I'm Vinny Caravella. Be safe out there. Be healthy. Do your best.
Stay tuned for Drummond.
Stay tuned for Drummond, and we'll be back next week.